Have you ever felt like certain people in your life thrive on making you feel small, uncertain, or desperate for their attention? It's exhausting, isn't it? There you are, giving your best, trying to show care, love, or support, and they respond with games. One moment they seem genuinely interested, pulling you in, and the next they push you away, leaving you questioning what went wrong. This cycle, it's not about you, it's about control, and understanding this truth can change everything. There are people who, knowingly or not, play with others' emotions to feed their own egos. They crave power, validation, and the thrill of keeping you on edge. They live for the chase, the drama, and the chaos. And when you respond with confusion, frustration, or hurt, it only fuels their behavior. But what if you could step away from their games entirely? What if their tricks, their manipulations, and their emotional bait no longer had any hold on you? It's not about fighting back with anger or trying to win in their twisted version of connection. It's about rising above it completely. When you develop an unshakable foundation within yourself, their games lose their power. You no longer chase their approval or seek their validation. Instead, you stand firm, rooted in your own worth, radiating a quiet confidence that commands respect. And that shift? It's what unsettles and confounds those who play these games. They can't control what they don't understand, and nothing confuses a manipulator more than someone who refuses to be manipulated. This isn't about becoming cold, distant, or unfeeling. It's about becoming wise, discerning, and emotionally strong. It's about recognizing that you don't need to engage with every provocation, justify yourself to everyone, or exhaust yourself trying to fix people who aren't willing to grow. It's about learning to walk away when necessary, not with bitterness, but with dignity and peace. True strength lies in the ability to stay calm in chaos. When someone tries to provoke you, their greatest weapon is your reaction. They poke, prod, and twist, hoping to see you unravel. But when you remain steady, when you pause, breathe, and choose your response carefully, it's as if you've pulled the rug out from under them. You haven't just removed their power, you've reclaimed your own. This is where the principles of Stoicism come in. Stoicism isn't just an ancient philosophy, it's a practical guide for navigating modern life. It teaches us that while we can't control others, we can always control ourselves. And in a world filled with people who thrive on manipulation, this lesson is priceless. By mastering your emotions, clarifying your values, and focusing on what truly matters, you can build a life where no one's games can touch you. But let's be real, it's not always easy. There will be moments when their words sting, their actions confuse, or their silence feels deafening. You'll second-guess yourself, wondering if you should have done something differently. These moments are the test. They're opportunities to practice what the Stoics called apatheia, a serene indifference to things outside your control. It's not about pretending not to care, it's about caring for the right things, your peace, your growth, your integrity. When you stop engaging in the games, you start to see them for what they really are, desperate attempts to fill voids that no amount of control or attention can ever satisfy. They're manipulations. They're not about you, they're about them. Recognizing this truth is liberating. It allows you to stop internalizing their actions and start living authentically. And here's the powerful part. When you stop reacting, you don't just protect yourself, you transform the dynamic. Your silence, your boundaries, and your calmness speak louder than any argument ever could. You communicate without words that you're not a pawn in anyone's game. And that energy, that quiet, unyielding strength, is magnetic. It draws the right people closer and pushes the wrong ones away. This journey isn't about perfection. You'll stumble, you'll overreact, you'll let someone's words get under your skin. That's okay. Growth isn't linear, And strength isn't about never falling. It's about always rising. Each moment of struggle is a chance to build resilience. Each time you choose your peace over their chaos, you take another step toward freedom. It's not just about avoiding toxic dynamics. It's about creating a life that's so full, so rich and so grounded that there's no room for them to infiltrate. When you focus on your own values, passions and relationships, their games become irrelevant. They may try to pull you back into their drama, but you'll be too busy building something beautiful to notice. The beauty of this process is that it doesn't require anyone else to change. You don't need their apology, their acknowledgement, or their cooperation. The power lies entirely within you. And once you realize that, you'll wonder why you ever gave anyone else the keys to your happiness. This isn't about becoming invulnerable. It's about becoming invincible in your vulnerability. It's about being open, loving, and empathetic while maintaining boundaries that protect your heart and mind. It's about showing up fully for yourself so that you can show up fully for the people who truly matter. In the end, the goal isn't to make others obsessed with you. It's to become so grounded, so secure, and so radiant in your own self-worth that no one's games can touch you. When you reach that point, you'll find that the people who once sought to control you either fade away or are forced to confront their own behavior. And that's the ultimate freedom, living authentically, unapologetically, and without fear of anyone's judgment or manipulation. So, as you read on, keep this truth close. You are not here to be played with, diminished, or controlled. You are here to stand tall, to thrive, and to live a life so rooted in purpose and peace that nothing can shake you. It's time to step into your power, not by changing who you are, but by becoming more of who you've always been. Let's begin. The strength you carry within is your greatest shield, but it often lies dormant, waiting for moments of challenge to reveal its potential. Emotional games and manipulations can feel like storms that test your resilience. These storms, though unsettling, are opportunities to uncover and cultivate an unshakable inner power, a power that transforms you into someone untouchable by the chaos others try to create. What does it mean to remain unfazed? It's not about suppressing your feelings or pretending you're unaffected. Instead, it's about rooting yourself so deeply in your values, your sense of self, and your emotional clarity that no external force can sway you. Let's dive into how you can nurture this kind of strength and disarm those who try to manipulate or diminish you. Unshakable inner power begins with understanding who you are and what you stand for. When your sense of identity is rooted in external approval or validation, it becomes vulnerable to the shifting tides of others' opinions. A manipulator thrives on this uncertainty. They exploit insecurities and seek to destabilize your foundation. The first step to cultivating inner strength is clarifying your core values. These are the principles that define your integrity and guide your actions. Write them down. Revisit them often. Let them become the compass that steers your responses. Building this power also involves mastering your emotional responses. Manipulators often provoke by creating urgency or chaos, forcing you to react impulsively. Reaction is their playground. To disarm them, you must pause. This pause isn't passive. It's a deliberate act of self-control. Taking a moment to breathe and assess the situation interrupts the manipulator's momentum and gives you space to decide your next move. It's in this stillness that your power grows. To strengthen your ability to pause, practice mindfulness daily. Engage in activities that ground you in the present, whether it's a meditative walk, focused breathing exercises, or journaling your thoughts. The more attuned you are to your internal state, the less likely you are to be pulled into the emotional whirlwind someone else tries to create. Equally important is learning to separate facts from narratives. Manipulators often distort reality, spinning stories that make you doubt yourself or question your actions. They might frame their demands as necessities or their criticisms as truths. To counter this, practice objective thinking. Ask yourself, what's the evidence for what they're saying? Does it align with my values and experiences? By grounding yourself in logic rather than emotion, you strip their manipulation of its power. Another cornerstone of unshakable inner power is emotional independence. This means recognizing that your worth isn't determined by anyone else's opinion or behavior. Validation is a dangerous currency. When you seek it externally, you give others the power to define your value. Instead, turn inward. Reflect on your strengths, your growth, and the unique qualities that make you who you are. Affirm your worth regularly, not as a boastful act, but as a quiet acknowledgement of your inherent value. Maintaining your emotional independence doesn't mean isolating yourself or rejecting connections. It means engaging with others from a place of security, not need. When you interact from a space of self-assurance, you're less likely to be swayed by manipulative tactics. Relationships become about mutual respect rather than control or dependency. Manipulators often test boundaries, pushing to see how much they can take before you resist. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect and an essential part of inner strength. A clear, firm boundary communicates your limits without aggression. When setting a boundary, use concise and respectful language. Avoid over-explaining or justifying yourself, as this opens the door for debate. For example, instead of saying, "I can't because I'm busy with other things," simply state, "I won't be able to do that." Confidence in your boundary signals confidence in yourself. Boundaries are most effective when consistent. If you waver or let someone cross a line just this once, it signals that your limits are negotiable. To solidify your boundaries, remind yourself why they matter. They protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being, resources too valuable to be spent on manipulative games. Unshakable power also requires cultivating resilience to rejection and criticism. Manipulators often use these tools to erode your confidence. They might withhold approval, subtly criticize your efforts, or make you feel inadequate. Resilience isn't about ignoring these experiences. It's about processing them without letting them define you. Acknowledge how you feel, then shift your focus to what you can learn or how you can grow from the situation. Every criticism carries a lesson, sometimes about you, and sometimes about the one delivering it. Resilience is further strengthened by practicing gratitude. While it may seem unrelated, gratitude shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right. It reminds you of your strengths, your achievements, and the support systems that matter. By anchoring yourself in positivity, you're less susceptible to the negativity others may try to impose on you. One of the most profound aspects of inner power is the ability to forgive, not for the sake of others, but for your own peace. Holding on to anger or resentment toward a manipulator only keeps you tethered to their influence. Forgiveness isn't about excusing their actions. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of carrying them. Release the grip of past wrongs, not as a favor to them, but as a gift to yourself. True inner power shines in your ability to stay composed in the face of provocation. When someone tries to push your buttons, they're seeking a reaction, proof that they have control. Composure denies them this satisfaction. It's not about suppressing your feelings, but channeling them constructively. If you feel anger, let it motivate you to set firmer boundaries. If you feel hurt, let it guide you to prioritize self-care. Redirecting emotions toward productive outcomes is the ultimate act of self-mastery. Part of this composure comes from practicing strategic silence. Not every comment deserves a response, and not every situation requires your participation. Silence, when used intentionally, is a powerful tool. It communicates confidence, self-control, and an unwillingness to engage in fruitless conflict. When you respond selectively, your words carry more weight, and your silence speaks volumes. Inner power also grows through meaningful self-reflection. Take time to regularly evaluate your thoughts, actions, and relationships. Are they aligned with your values? Are there patterns of behavior, yours or others, that need adjustment? Self-reflection isn't about self-criticism, it's about self-awareness. The more you understand yourself, the less others can manipulate you. Surrounding yourself with people who uplift and respect you further strengthens your power. A supportive environment reinforces your sense of self-worth and provides a buffer against negativity. Seek out relationships where mutual respect and understanding thrive. These connections remind you of what healthy interactions look like, making manipulative ones easier to identify and reject. Ultimately, inner power is about reclaiming your narrative. Manipulators thrive on rewriting your story to fit their agenda, but your life is yours to shape. Decide what role you want to play, what values you want to embody, and what legacy you want to leave. When you take ownership of your narrative, no one else can dictate it for you. This journey isn't about becoming invincible, it's about becoming unshakable. You will still feel emotions, you will still face challenges, but with each test, you'll find yourself standing a little taller, a little stronger, and a little more certain of who you are. Inner power isn't a destination, it's a lifelong practice, and with every step, you move further from the games others try to play and closer to the life you deserve to live. True strength doesn't only lie in standing firm, it often lies in knowing when to let go. The ability to detach emotionally is not about indifference or a lack of care. It's about reclaiming control over what influences your inner peace. When others seek to manipulate, provoke, or ensnare you with emotional traps, detachment becomes your greatest ally. It allows you to observe, understand, and respond wisely, rather than react impulsively. Emotional detachment isn't about building walls, it's about creating a balanced space where external chaos doesn't dictate your inner world. Emotional detachment begins with redefining your relationship with control. Many times, manipulators rely on creating a false sense of urgency or importance around their actions. They want you to believe that their feelings, their needs, and their expectations are your responsibility. But they are not. The Stoics taught that what lies within your control is limited to your thoughts, choices, and responses. Everything else, others' opinions, actions, and reactions, exists beyond your sphere of influence. Accepting this distinction is the first step toward freeing yourself from the emotional weight others try to place on you. Cultivating detachment requires stepping back from the narratives that manipulative people create. They often frame themselves as victims to elicit guilt or cast blame to provoke defensiveness. Instead of getting pulled into their stories, practice observing them from a neutral perspective. Pay attention to their patterns without assigning meaning to their behavior. This mindset transforms emotional entanglement into clarity, allowing you to see their actions as reflections of their struggles rather than a reflection of your worth. At the core of detachment is the ability to control your focus. Manipulators thrive on attention. They want to monopolize your thoughts and dictate your priorities. By consciously redirecting your focus to what truly matters, your values, goals, and personal growth, you weaken their grip. Practice identifying moments when your energy is being drained by their tactics and consciously choose to reinvest that energy elsewhere. This act of reclaiming your focus is both empowering and liberating. Detachment also involves breaking free from the need for validation. Manipulators often use approval or affection as tools to keep you tethered. When you stop seeking external approval, you disrupt their leverage. Start by affirming your decisions and achievements internally. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and trust your instincts without needing others to validate them. Over time, this practice reinforces your confidence and reduces your reliance on external feedback. A powerful aspect of detachment is learning to embrace uncertainty. Manipulative people often exploit your fear of the unknown, presenting themselves as the solution to your doubts or insecurities. Detachment requires acknowledging that uncertainty is a natural part of life and trusting in your ability to navigate it. By releasing the need for guarantees or specific outcomes, you free yourself from their attempts to anchor you in fear. Practicing detachment doesn't mean suppressing emotions or ignoring your feelings. Instead, it involves acknowledging your emotions without letting them dictate your actions. When you feel anger, sadness, or frustration in response to manipulation, allow yourself to sit with those emotions without judgment. Name what you're feeling, reflect on its source, and decide how to channel it constructively. This emotional mindfulness prevents you from being consumed by reactive impulses. Boundaries play a vital role in emotional detachment. They create a clear separation between your responsibilities and others' expectations. Boundaries don't just protect your time and energy, they signal your respect for yourself. When setting boundaries, avoid over-explaining or apologizing. A simple, firm statement like, "This doesn't work for me," or "I need time to think about this," communicates strength without inviting negotiation. Detachment also involves detaching from the past. Manipulative people often dredge up past mistakes or conflicts to keep you anchored in guilt or regret. Detachment requires releasing the hold of the past and focusing on the present. Accept what cannot be changed and redirect your energy toward what you can influence now. This practice not only disarms manipulators, but also allows you to move forward with clarity and purpose. Another aspect of detachment is recognizing and neutralizing emotional hooks. Manipulators often use specific phrases, actions, or situations to provoke reactions. These hooks are designed to trigger guilt, anger, or insecurity. Detachment requires identifying these triggers and preparing neutral responses. Instead of reacting with defensiveness or guilt, respond with calm acknowledgement or silence. This disarms their tactics and reinforces your emotional independence. A key principle of detachment is practicing self-compassion. Manipulators often exploit your self-doubt, making you question your worth or judgment. By cultivating self-compassion, you create an inner environment of kindness and understanding that shields you from their attempts to undermine you. Speak to yourself as you would to a close friend, offering encouragement and patience in moments of difficulty. Detachment also involves embracing the concept of non-attachment to outcomes. Manipulative individuals often create scenarios where they hold the power to grant or deny what you desire. By releasing your attachment to specific outcomes, you diminish their influence. Focus on the effort and intention behind your actions rather than fixating on external results. This mindset not only fosters resilience, but also reduces the emotional impact of their tactics. One of the most challenging but rewarding aspects of detachment is letting go of the need to be understood. Manipulators often distort your words or intentions, leaving you frustrated and desperate to clarify yourself. Detachment means accepting that not everyone will see or understand your perspective, and that's okay. Your peace doesn't depend on others' comprehension. It depends on your alignment with your values. Practicing detachment also requires creating emotional distance when necessary. This doesn't mean cutting people off impulsively, but recognizing when someone's presence consistently disrupts your peace. Detachment involves taking a step back, either temporarily or permanently, to protect your well-being. This space allows you to reassess the relationship and determine whether it aligns with your values and goals. To sustain detachment, surround yourself with sources of positivity and inspiration. Engage in activities, relationships, and environments that uplift you. These anchors provide stability and reinforce your ability to maintain emotional independence. When your life is rich with fulfillment, the games of manipulative individuals lose their appeal. Detachment also requires embracing your autonomy. Manipulators often try to make you feel dependent on them for guidance, support, or approval. Reclaim your autonomy by taking ownership of your decisions and actions. Trust your ability to navigate challenges independently and celebrate your capacity for self-reliance. Detachment is an ongoing practice, not a one-time achievement. It requires continuous self-awareness, reflection, and adjustment. Each interaction with a manipulative individual presents an opportunity to strengthen your detachment. Over time, this practice becomes second nature, transforming the way you engage with others and navigate life's challenges. By mastering the art of emotional detachment, you create a life where your peace and happiness are no longer contingent on external factors. This strength doesn't just protect you from manipulation, it empowers you to live authentically and fully, unburdened by the games others may try to play. In this space of freedom, your true self thrives. When you've mastered emotional detachment, the ability to remain calm in the face of chaos becomes second nature. However, staying calm isn't the same as being blind to manipulation. Detachment allows you to step back, but recognizing manipulation early ensures you don't step into traps that undermine your peace. The next step in strengthening your inner resolve is learning how to identify the signs of emotional manipulation before they entangle you. These signs often masquerade as kindness, care, or concern, making it essential to discern them with clarity. Manipulators thrive in subtlety. They rarely announce their intentions or show their hand outright. Instead, they operate in shades of ambiguity and half-truths. This ambiguity serves a purpose. It keeps you off balance, questioning your perceptions and doubting your instincts. To counter this, you must become adept at spotting these hidden patterns and understanding the dynamics at play. Doing so will not only protect your peace, but also ensure you remain in control of your emotional energy and decisions. One of the first indicators of manipulation is inconsistency in how someone treats you. A manipulative individual may alternate between warmth and coldness, praise and criticism, or attention and neglect. This unpredictability is designed to foster a sense of dependency, as you find yourself seeking their approval or avoiding their disapproval. Steady relationships don't involve this kind of emotional seesaw. Observe whether the person's behavior aligns with their words over time. Authenticity remains consistent, while manipulation shifts like the wind. Another common tactic is leveraging guilt to influence your actions. Manipulators excel at creating narratives where your choices are framed as selfish or unkind. They might say, "I thought you'd understand," or, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me." These statements aren't reflections of genuine hurt. They're calculated attempts to make you feel responsible for their emotions. Healthy relationships don't thrive on guilt. When faced with such remarks, remind yourself that others' feelings are not your burden to carry, especially when their expectations are unreasonable or manipulative. Gaslighting is another powerful tool in the manipulator's arsenal. This tactic involves distorting your perception of reality, making you doubt your instincts or memories. A gaslighter might deny saying something they clearly did, accuse you of overreacting, or frame your concerns as irrational. Over time, this erodes your confidence in your judgment, leaving you reliant on their version of events. To counter this, document key conversations or decisions and trust the evidence of your experiences over their attempts to distort it. Language is a subtle but revealing tool used in manipulation. Manipulative people often phrase their requests or remarks in ways that make dissent feel unreasonable. Statements like, "Everyone agrees with me," or "I didn't expect you to be like this," are designed to isolate you and create pressure to conform. These tactics rely on implied consensus or personal disappointment to sway you. Recognize these cues and trust your values over their carefully constructed narratives. Isolation is another sign of emotional manipulation. Manipulators may discourage you from spending time with friends or family, often under the guise of care or concern. They might say, "I just want to spend more time with you," while subtly undermining your other relationships. This creates a dynamic where they become your primary source of support and control. True care respects your connections and encourages your independence, not the opposite. A manipulator's tactics often involve urgency. They create scenarios where decisions must be made immediately, leaving you little time to think critically. This sense of urgency bypasses your rational judgment, forcing impulsive actions. If someone repeatedly pressures you into quick decisions, pause and assess whether the situation truly demands urgency or if it's being manufactured to gain control. Flattery is another tool used by manipulators, but unlike genuine compliments, manipulative flattery feels calculated. It often precedes a request or follows a boundary you've set, as if to soften your resolve. Statements like, "You're so generous," "I knew you'd help me," or "You're always so understanding," are designed to disarm you. Pay attention to whether the praise feels tied to an agenda rather than genuine appreciation. Manipulators are adept at exploiting vulnerabilities. They study your fears, insecurities, and desires, using them as leverage to steer your behavior. For instance, if you're known for being helpful, they may exaggerate their need for your support. If you fear conflict, they might use passive-aggressive comments to push their agenda without direct confrontation. Recognizing this pattern involves self-awareness and setting boundaries that protect your emotional space. Blame shifting is another hallmark of manipulation. A manipulator rarely accepts responsibility for their actions, instead positioning themselves as the victim. Even when confronted with clear evidence, they find ways to redirect fault. This dynamic keeps you defensive and preoccupied with justifying yourself. Healthy interactions involve mutual accountability, not constant accusations or denials. Triangulation is a tactic where manipulators involve third parties, real or imagined, to validate their perspective. They might say, "Everyone agrees with me," or "So-and-so also thinks you're being unreasonable." This creates doubt and pits you against an unseen majority. Resist the temptation to engage with these comparisons and focus instead on the direct relationship at hand. Selective amnesia is another strategy used to avoid accountability. Manipulators conveniently forget agreements, promises, or past actions when it benefits them. This erasure leaves you feeling frustrated and powerless. Maintaining a record of significant conversations or commitments helps counter this tactic and reinforces your sense of clarity. Emotional manipulation often involves exaggerated displays of emotion to derail conversations or distract from accountability. They may erupt in anger, burst into tears, or withdraw entirely to shift attention away from their actions. These outbursts are designed to make you feel responsible for soothing or fixing the situation. While empathy is important, it should never come at the cost of addressing core issues or maintaining your boundaries. Manipulative people frequently chip away at your confidence through subtle criticisms or backhanded compliments. Comments like, "You're lucky I put up with you," or "Not everyone would be as patient as I am," plant seeds of self-doubt. Recognizing these remarks as intentional attempts to undermine your self-esteem is the first step to rejecting their influence. They also personalize situations that have little to do with them, framing your actions or decisions as deliberate attempts to hurt them. For example, setting a boundary might be met with, "You're doing this just to upset me." This tactic shifts the focus from your needs to their feelings, making you second-guess your choices. Stay grounded in the validity of your boundaries, regardless of their response. By recognizing these tactics early, you reclaim control over your emotional energy and interactions. Manipulators rely on confusion, doubt, and guilt to thrive, but awareness disrupts their strategy. When you trust your instincts and prioritize your well-being, you not only protect yourself, but also strengthen your ability to navigate relationships with clarity and purpose. With these tools, the games lose their power, and you stand confidently in the freedom of self-respect. Recognizing manipulation is a powerful first step, but even with awareness, the emotional wounds left behind can linger. Hurt has a way of clinging, resurfacing in quiet moments when the mind is unguarded. Yet, within every wound lies a lesson, within every painful experience, an untapped reservoir of strength. Emotional pain doesn't have to define you. It can become the fuel that propels you toward growth, resilience, and a deeper understanding of yourself. The Stoics believed in transforming adversity into power, and now is the time to unlock that transformative potential. Pain often feels like a weight, but it is also a teacher. When manipulators sow seeds of doubt, insecurity, or anger, they often aim to weaken you. However, these emotions, though uncomfortable, hold clues to your inner world. The first step in turning pain into power is acknowledgement. Pretending the hurt doesn't exist only amplifies its grip. Acknowledge the pain openly and without judgment. Reflect on its origin, what triggered it, why it affected you so deeply, and what it reveals about your values or unmet needs. Awareness transforms pain from an uncontrollable force into a guide for self-discovery. Reframing the narrative around pain is another crucial step. Instead of seeing emotional wounds as evidence of weakness, view them as signs of your capacity to care and connect deeply. Pain often arises because something meaningful was threatened or lost. Shifting your perspective from "Why did this happen to me?" to "What can this teach me about myself?" gives you control over the story. The Stoics believed that suffering isn't rooted in events themselves, but in how we interpret them. Changing your interpretation shifts the emotional weight and allows you to grow. Channeling emotional pain into constructive action further unlocks its power. Energy trapped in frustration or sorrow can be redirected toward pursuits that heal and empower. Creative outlets like writing, art, or music provide a space to express emotions safely, giving them form and meaning. Physical activity, too, serves as a release, grounding you in the present and reminding you of your strength. Each action you take to move through pain strengthens your resilience and lessens its hold. Detaching your sense of self-worth from the manipulator's actions is essential for transformation. Pain often feels personal, as though their behavior reflects something flawed within you. But the truth is, their actions are more about them than you. Recognizing this liberates you from carrying their emotional baggage. Instead of internalizing their behavior, focus on reaffirming your worth. Engage in practices that remind you of your strengths, such as journaling your achievements, surrounding yourself with supportive individuals, or immersing yourself in activities that bring joy. Learning to forgive, not as an act of excusing, but as a way of releasing, also transforms pain into power. Forgiveness isn't about letting someone off the hook for their behavior. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional chains of resentment. Resentment keeps you tethered to the manipulator's influence, draining your energy and clouding your perspective. By forgiving, you reclaim that energy and redirect it toward your healing and growth. Another step in this transformation is cultivating gratitude for the lessons learned. It may seem counterintuitive to be grateful for pain, but each challenge brings an opportunity to strengthen your character. Manipulation may teach you the value of boundaries, the importance of self-respect, or the necessity of emotional independence. Gratitude shifts the focus from loss to gain, from weakness to empowerment, reminding you of your capacity to adapt and overcome. Embracing emotional vulnerability as a strength is another key element. Pain often tempts us to close off, to shield ourselves from future hurt. But vulnerability, when paired with self-awareness, becomes a source of courage. Allowing yourself to feel deeply, even in the aftermath of manipulation, keeps you connected to your humanity. This connection fosters empathy, not just for others, but for yourself. It reminds you that healing is a process, not a destination. Pain also serves as a mirror, reflecting areas of growth or patterns that may need attention. For instance, if someone's manipulation exploited a particular insecurity, use this awareness to address it. Build confidence in areas where doubt lingers. Seek out knowledge, skills, or experiences that reinforce your sense of self. Each step you take to fortify yourself diminishes the likelihood of future manipulation and amplifies your resilience. Practicing mindfulness further transforms pain into a tool for growth. Mindfulness teaches you to sit with discomfort without being overwhelmed by it. By observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment, you create space between yourself and the pain. This space allows you to choose how to respond rather than reacting impulsively. Through mindfulness, pain becomes a temporary visitor rather than a permanent resident in your mind. Seeking meaning in adversity unlocks its alchemical potential. The Stoics believed that every experience, no matter how painful, holds a purpose. Reflect on how the challenges you've faced have shaped your character or deepened your understanding of life. Perhaps the pain taught you to trust your instincts, reinforced the importance of self-care, or inspired you to seek healthier relationships. Finding meaning doesn't erase the hurt, but gives it direction, transforming it from a source of suffering into a catalyst for growth. Developing compassion for yourself and others strengthens this transformation. Pain often isolates, making you feel alone in your struggles. But by recognizing that others face similar challenges, you build connections that foster healing. Sharing your journey, whether through conversation, writing, or support groups, turns your pain into a source of comfort and wisdom for others. In helping others heal, you reinforce your own growth and resilience. Rebuilding trust in yourself is a cornerstone of turning pain into power. Manipulation often undermines self-trust, leaving you second-guessing your choices or instincts. Reclaiming this trust involves small, consistent actions that reinforce your confidence. Make promises to yourself and keep them. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Each step rebuilds the foundation of self-reliance, making you less susceptible to future manipulation. Setting new goals rooted in your values is another way to channel pain into empowerment. Pain often creates a sense of stagnation, trapping you in cycles of rumination. By focusing on future aspirations, you redirect your energy toward growth. These goals don't have to be grand. They can be as simple as developing a new skill, nurturing a healthy relationship, or committing to daily self-care. Each step forward becomes a declaration of your resilience. Surrounding yourself with positive influences accelerates this transformation. Seek out relationships, communities, and environments that uplift and inspire you. Positive connections remind you of your worth and provide a buffer against negativity. They also serve as a reminder that not all relationships are marked by manipulation or pain. Healthy interactions reinforce your belief in the goodness of others and your ability to build fulfilling connections. Embracing the philosophy of impermanence allows you to release the grip of pain. The Stoics taught that everything in life is temporary: joy, sorrow, success, failure. Recognizing this truth helps you see pain as a passing experience rather than a defining one. This perspective fosters resilience, reminding you that no matter how deep the hurt, it will eventually give way to healing and growth. Turning emotional pain into power is not a single act, but an ongoing journey. Each step, whether acknowledging the hurt, reframing the narrative, or seeking meaning, adds to your strength. The process isn't linear and setbacks are inevitable, but with each challenge, your capacity to rise grows. Pain, when transformed, becomes not just a testament to your endurance, but a source of wisdom, courage, and unshakable inner power. When emotional pain is transformed into strength, the next step is using that power to protect your peace. This is where boundaries become essential, not walls that isolate, but intentional guidelines that create space for respect, growth, and authenticity. Boundaries are not just about keeping others at bay. They are about defining how you wish to be treated, what you value, and what you will no longer tolerate. Without them, even the strongest resolve can erode under the pressure of manipulation, overreach, or imbalance. Setting and maintaining unbreakable boundaries is both an act of self-respect and a declaration of your worth. Boundaries begin with clarity. Before setting limits with others, it's crucial to understand your own needs and values. Manipulative individuals often exploit vagueness, pushing against undefined lines until they gain control. Reflect on what feels acceptable and what doesn't in various aspects of your life: relationships, work, and personal time. Define the behaviors you find draining, the compromises you're unwilling to make, and the treatment you will no longer endure. This clarity anchors your boundaries in purpose rather than reaction. Once you understand your boundaries, communicate them with confidence. Many hesitate to set boundaries for fear of conflict or rejection, but silence only enables others to overstep. Clear, direct communication is key. Use simple, firm language that leaves no room for misinterpretation. Instead of saying, "I feel like I need more space," say, "I need more space to focus on my priorities." Avoid justifying or over-explaining your boundary, as doing so may invite debate or manipulation. Boundaries are most effective when paired with consistency. Manipulators often test limits, seeking weaknesses they can exploit. If you set a boundary but fail to enforce it, you send the message that your limits are negotiable. For example, if you say you're unavailable during certain hours but consistently respond during that time, you undermine your own credibility. Stand firm, even when enforcing your boundary feels uncomfortable or inconvenient. Consistency builds respect, both from others and for yourself. Enforcing boundaries requires a balance of assertiveness and poise. Assertiveness is not aggression. It's the calm, confident assertion of your needs. Speak firmly but respectfully, focusing on your actions rather than their behavior. For example, say, "I won't be able to continue this conversation if it becomes disrespectful," instead of, "You're being disrespectful." This approach shifts the focus from blame to your intentions, reducing the likelihood of escalation. Setting boundaries often reveals the true dynamics of a relationship. People who respect you will adjust, even if it takes time. Those who resist or retaliate may not have your best interests at heart. This resistance can manifest as guilt-tripping, anger, or withdrawal. Recognizing these reactions as attempts to undermine your boundaries helps you stay grounded. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your responsibility lies in protecting your well-being. Boundaries also require flexibility within reason. While it's important to stand firm, rigid boundaries can sometimes alienate supportive people. Balance is key. Assess whether adjustments align with your values or compromise your peace. For example, you might make an exception for a loved one in a genuine emergency, but not for someone who habitually disregards your time. Flexibility rooted in discernment strengthens your relationships without sacrificing your integrity. Self-awareness is crucial in maintaining boundaries. Manipulators often exploit emotional triggers to breach your limits. For instance, they may use flattery, guilt, or urgency to sway you. By recognizing your emotional vulnerabilities, you can prepare strategies to counter these tactics. Pause before responding, reaffirm your boundary internally, and remind yourself of its importance. This practice transforms reactive impulses into thoughtful decisions. Boundaries are not just external, they are internal as well. Internal boundaries involve setting limits with yourself to maintain balance and focus. For example, you might commit to not overcommitting your time or engaging in negative self-talk. These boundaries reinforce your self-discipline and ensure you're not undermining your own peace. The ability to say no is a cornerstone of boundary setting. For many, saying no feels uncomfortable, as though it risks damaging relationships or disappointing others. However, no is a complete sentence, an act of self-respect that doesn't require justification. Practice saying no in small, low-stakes situations to build confidence. Over time, this skill becomes second nature, empowering you to prioritize your needs without guilt. Boundaries also involve protecting your energy. Manipulative individuals often drain emotional, mental, or physical energy without reciprocation. Assess where your energy is being spent and whether it aligns with your values and goals. If certain interactions consistently leave you feeling depleted, consider limiting or eliminating them. Redirect that energy toward relationships and activities that uplift and nourish you. Boundaries in digital spaces are just as important as those in physical interactions. With constant connectivity, it's easy to feel overwhelmed or invaded. Set limits on when and how you engage with others online. For example, establish times when you're unavailable for messages or calls and resist the pressure to respond immediately. Protecting your digital boundaries reinforces your control over your time and focus. Reinforcing boundaries requires regular reflection. As you grow and evolve, your needs and priorities may change. Periodically revisit your boundaries to ensure they still align with your values. Adjust them as needed to reflect your current goals and circumstances. This practice keeps your boundaries relevant and effective, allowing them to support your growth. Boundaries are an act of compassion, not just for yourself, but for others. They create clear expectations and prevent misunderstandings, fostering healthier interactions. By setting boundaries, you teach others how to engage with you respectfully. In turn, this encourages mutual respect and accountability, strengthening your relationships over time. When boundaries are challenged, respond with calm confidence. Reacting with anger or frustration can escalate conflict and weaken your position. Instead, restate your boundary firmly and without emotion. If met with resistance, maintain your stance without engaging in prolonged debate. This consistency reinforces your commitment to your well-being. Building a support system strengthens your ability to set and maintain boundaries. Surround yourself with individuals who respect your limits and encourage your growth. A supportive network provides perspective and reinforcement, reminding you that healthy relationships honor boundaries rather than resist them. Boundaries also involve teaching others through example. By respecting others' boundaries, you model the behavior you expect in return. This mutual respect fosters trust and understanding, creating a foundation for balanced, fulfilling relationships. Boundaries require self-compassion. You may falter, second-guess yourself, or face resistance when setting limits. This is part of the process, not a reflection of failure. Treat yourself with kindness as you navigate this journey, recognizing that each step strengthens your resilience and self-worth. Setting unbreakable boundaries is a transformative act of self-respect and empowerment. By defining your limits, communicating them with confidence, and reinforcing them consistently, you create a life rooted in balance, integrity, and peace. These boundaries don't just protect you, they empower you to engage with others authentically, free from manipulation or overreach. In this space of clarity and strength, your true self can thrive. Boundaries create a framework of respect, but the strength of those boundaries often lies in how you enforce them. One of the most powerful tools for reinforcing your limits and commanding respect is silence. Strategic silence isn't passive avoidance or indifference. It's an intentional choice to respond with calm and restraint. In a world full of noise, where manipulators thrive on emotional reactions and words they can twist, silence becomes a language of its own. It disrupts their control, preserves your dignity, and shifts the balance of power in your favor. Silence is not weakness. It is a signal of confidence and self-mastery. When someone attempts to provoke or manipulate you, they are often seeking validation of their control through your reaction. Words of defense, anger, or explanation feed their agenda, but silence denies them this satisfaction. It is an act of defiance wrapped in calmness. By choosing silence, you shift the focus from their chaos to your composure, leaving them unsettled and uncertain. One of the first lessons in mastering silence is recognizing when to use it. Silence is most powerful when faced with provocation, guilt-tripping, or baiting. These tactics are designed to pull you into an emotional response, which manipulators can then exploit. When confronted with such behavior, resist the urge to defend or explain yourself. Instead, allow the silence to linger. This pause creates space for reflection and disarms the manipulator's momentum. Silence also creates an aura of mystery. Manipulative individuals often rely on gathering information about your thoughts, feelings, or plans to use against you. The less you reveal, the less they have to work with. Strategic silence ensures that your intentions remain yours alone, shielding your vulnerabilities from those who might exploit them. It forces others to confront their own assumptions instead of relying on your words to confirm or deny them. In moments of conflict, silence can de-escalate tension. When emotions run high, words often inflame rather than resolve. By stepping back and remaining silent, you allow the intensity to subside, creating an opportunity for rationality to return. This approach demonstrates maturity and self-control, qualities that naturally command respect. Silence in these moments becomes an invitation for others to reflect on their own behavior. Silence can also be a powerful tool for establishing boundaries without confrontation. When someone pushes against your limits, responding with silence communicates that their actions do not merit engagement. It is a subtle but firm assertion of your boundaries, signaling that you will not be drawn into their game. This approach prevents unnecessary conflict while reinforcing your stance. Practicing silence also involves cultivating patience. In a culture that values quick responses and constant communication, silence feels counterintuitive. But patience allows you to harness its full power. By resisting the urge to fill every pause with words, you create a space where clarity and intention can flourish. This patience signals confidence, showing that you are in control of the situation and do not need to rush to prove your point. Silence can be used as a tool for observation. By stepping back and listening, you gain valuable insights into others' intentions and tactics. Manipulators often reveal themselves through contradictions, exaggerated emotions, or patterns of behavior that emerge over time. Silence allows you to gather this information without drawing attention to your awareness, giving you an advantage in navigating the situation. Choosing silence doesn't mean avoiding confrontation when necessary. Instead, it is about timing and intention. There are moments when speaking up is essential, but silence ensures that when you do speak, your words carry weight. People listen more intently to someone who speaks selectively, valuing their input as rare and deliberate. Silence, then, becomes the foundation for impactful communication. In personal relationships, silence can be a way to maintain peace without sacrificing your boundaries. When someone criticizes or provokes you unfairly, responding with silence can prevent the escalation of conflict. It is a way of saying, "Your words do not define me, and I do not need to defend myself." This restraint often shifts the dynamic, forcing the other person to reconsider their approach. Silence also teaches self-discipline. It requires resisting the impulse to react, especially when emotions are involved. This discipline strengthens your ability to manage your thoughts and actions, ensuring that your responses align with your values rather than being driven by external pressures. Over time, this practice builds resilience and confidence in your ability to handle challenging situations. Strategic silence can also be a way of reclaiming control in professional settings. In meetings or discussions where power dynamics are at play, remaining silent can unsettle those who seek to dominate the conversation. It signals that you are thoughtful and composed, refusing to be rushed or pressured into agreeing prematurely. This approach often shifts the focus to the speaker, leaving them to fill the void and potentially reveal their intentions or weaknesses. Using silence effectively also involves understanding when to break it. Silence is most impactful when paired with thoughtful action or communication. After a period of silence, your words or decisions carry greater significance as they are seen as deliberate and considered. This contrast between silence and action reinforces your presence and authority. In moments of manipulation, silence can serve as a mirror, reflecting the manipulator's tactics back at them. When they expect a reaction and receive none, they are forced to confront the emptiness of their approach. This often creates discomfort or confusion, disrupting their strategy and giving you the upper hand. Silence in this context becomes a form of passive resistance that dismantles their control. Silence also fosters emotional clarity. When you refrain from speaking, you create space to process your emotions and thoughts without external influence. This clarity helps you respond from a place of strength rather than reacting out of anger, fear, or frustration. It ensures that your actions are intentional and aligned with your goals, rather than dictated by the manipulator's agenda. In group dynamics, silence can be a way of commanding respect without seeking attention. By observing and listening, you position yourself as thoughtful and discerning. Others are more likely to value your contributions when they are made sparingly and with intention. This approach contrasts with those who speak incessantly, highlighting your composure and thoughtfulness. Silence is also a tool for self-preservation. In situations where engagement would drain your energy or compromise your peace, silence provides a way to protect yourself. It allows you to disengage without escalating the situation, preserving your focus and well-being. This choice reinforces the idea that not every battle is worth fighting, and sometimes the strongest response is no response at all. The practice of silence cultivates humility. It reminds you that not every situation requires your input or involvement. By stepping back, you acknowledge that others have the space to express themselves while preserving your own energy for moments that truly matter. This humility fosters stronger connections and reduces unnecessary conflict. Silence also empowers you to choose your battles wisely. Manipulators often thrive on drawing you into every disagreement or conflict, but silence allows you to prioritize your energy and attention. It enables you to focus on what aligns with your values and goals, leaving behind distractions that serve no purpose. This selective engagement ensures that your efforts are directed toward what truly matters. Silence strengthens your inner peace. It creates a buffer between you and the chaos of external circumstances, allowing you to center yourself. This peace radiates outward, influencing how others perceive and interact with you. A person who exudes calm and control naturally commands respect, creating an environment where manipulation loses its grip. The power of silence lies in its ability to disrupt, to protect, and to empower. It is a tool of restraint, reflection, and resolution, enabling you to navigate even the most challenging situations with dignity and strength. In its stillness, silence speaks volumes, commanding respect and preserving your peace. Silence teaches control and creates space for reflection, but the strength behind it comes from something deeper: emotional independence. True freedom begins when your sense of worth is no longer tied to how others see you. Seeking external validation, though tempting, places your self-esteem in the hands of others, leaving you vulnerable to their opinions, moods, and agendas. Emotional independence isn't about shutting people out or disregarding their input. It's about reclaiming ownership of your identity and finding fulfillment within yourself. Approval is a powerful force. Many of us grow up conditioned to seek it, associating it with acceptance, love, or success. But approval is fleeting, shifting as quickly as others' preferences or expectations. When you rely on it, you find yourself chasing an ever-moving target, sacrificing your values or authenticity to meet others' standards. Emotional independence breaks this cycle. It is the art of knowing that your value is inherent, unaffected by external praise or criticism. The first step toward emotional independence is self-awareness. Understanding your own beliefs, values, and priorities helps ground your sense of identity. When you are clear about who you are and what matters to you, others' opinions lose their influence. Take time to reflect on what drives you, your passions, your strengths, and the principles you hold dear. Write them down, revisit them, and let them serve as a reminder of what defines you, independent of external input. Breaking free from external validation requires examining why it feels so essential. Often, the need for approval stems from a fear of rejection or failure, rooted in past experiences or societal pressures. Recognizing this fear is liberating. It allows you to challenge its hold over you. Instead of viewing disapproval as a personal failure, see it as a reflection of differing perspectives or priorities. Reframing rejection in this way shifts the focus from seeking approval to honoring your truth. Cultivating self-acceptance is a cornerstone of emotional independence. This doesn't mean ignoring areas where you want to grow, but it does mean acknowledging your worth as you are, flaws included. Perfection is an illusion, and chasing it only deepens the need for external validation. Embrace your imperfections as part of your unique identity, and you'll find that your sense of worth becomes unshakable. Another aspect of emotional independence is setting boundaries with your time and energy. When you constantly seek to please others, you risk overcommitting and neglecting your own needs. Learn to say no without guilt, recognizing that your priorities deserve as much respect as anyone else's. Each time you prioritize your well-being, you reinforce the message that your value doesn't hinge on others' approval. Practicing self-validation strengthens your independence. Instead of waiting for others to acknowledge your achievements or efforts, celebrate them yourself. Reflect on what you've accomplished and the obstacles you've overcome. By affirming your own worth, you build a foundation of confidence that doesn't require external reinforcement. Emotional independence also involves distinguishing between constructive feedback and unsolicited opinions. While feedback can be valuable, not every opinion merits your attention. Learn to filter out noise, focusing only on input that aligns with your values and goals. This discernment allows you to grow without compromising your sense of self. Mindfulness plays a crucial role in breaking free from the validation trap. By staying present, you become more attuned to your thoughts and emotions, recognizing when the need for approval arises. This awareness helps you pause, reflect, and choose a response that aligns with your values rather than reacting out of insecurity. Mindfulness also reminds you that others' opinions are often projections of their own experiences and biases, not reflections of your worth. Another step toward emotional independence is embracing vulnerability. Seeking approval often stems from a desire to shield ourselves from criticism or judgment. But vulnerability, being open about your thoughts, feelings, and imperfections, creates authentic connections and fosters resilience. When you stop hiding behind the need for approval, you discover that your true self is enough. Building a strong support system reinforces emotional independence. Surround yourself with individuals who respect your boundaries and encourage your growth. While their support doesn't define your worth, it provides a foundation of trust and mutual respect that strengthens your confidence. Healthy relationships are partnerships, not sources of validation. Pursuing your passions and interests independently of others' expectations is another way to cultivate emotional independence. When you engage in activities that fulfill you, without seeking recognition or approval, you reclaim your sense of joy and purpose. This focus on intrinsic motivation shifts your attention from external validation to personal fulfillment. Developing gratitude for your journey helps counter the pull of external validation. Gratitude shifts your perspective from what you lack to what you have, fostering contentment and reducing the need for approval. Reflect on the growth you've experienced, the lessons you've learned, and the strengths you've developed. Gratitude reminds you that your worth isn't conditional, it's rooted in the richness of your experiences. Resilience is another key element of emotional independence. Life will inevitably bring criticism, rejection, or disapproval, but resilience allows you to navigate these challenges without losing your sense of self. Build resilience by reframing setbacks as opportunities for growth, focusing on what you can learn or improve. Each challenge you overcome reinforces your belief in your ability to thrive without external validation. Emotional independence also involves detaching from outcomes. When you tie your sense of worth to specific results, you become vulnerable to disappointment and criticism. Instead, focus on the effort and intention behind your actions, recognizing that these are within your control. This shift in focus reduces anxiety and fosters a sense of accomplishment that isn't dependent on external recognition. Practicing self-compassion strengthens emotional independence. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding, especially in moments of doubt or failure. Self-compassion reminds you that you are human, deserving of love and acceptance regardless of your achievements or others' opinions. This inner kindness becomes a source of strength, allowing you to face challenges with confidence. Developing hobbies or skills that challenge you in meaningful ways fosters independence. These activities provide a sense of purpose and achievement that doesn't rely on external validation. Whether it's learning a new language, mastering a craft, or pursuing a creative passion, these pursuits reinforce your belief in your own capabilities. Emotional independence involves celebrating progress rather than perfection. Growth is a journey, not a destination, and every step forward deserves recognition. By focusing on your progress, you shift the focus from external approval to personal fulfillment. This mindset fosters a sense of pride and contentment that no amount of validation can replicate. Emotional independence is not about rejecting others or isolating yourself. It's about finding balance. It's about engaging with the world from a place of confidence and authenticity, free from the need for constant affirmation. When you embrace your inherent worth and stop seeking external validation, you create a life rooted in self-respect, purpose, and genuine fulfillment. In this space, you are truly free. When you break free from the need for external validation, you gain clarity about your own worth. But clarity doesn't just apply to yourself. It also allows you to see others more clearly, especially those who attempt to manipulate you. Manipulation thrives in the shadows of misunderstanding, feeding on confusion and misplaced trust. By reframing manipulative actions, you bring them into the light, stripping them of their power. The Stoics believed in seeing things as they truly are, and this perspective becomes your greatest tool in understanding the true nature of manipulative behaviors. Manipulation often disguises itself as care, concern, or even love. These masks make it difficult to recognize, especially when the manipulator is someone you value. However, Stoic wisdom teaches us to examine actions objectively, separating the surface appearance from the underlying intention. When someone's words or behaviors create unease, pause and assess whether their actions align with their claimed motives. This habit of questioning helps you uncover patterns and inconsistencies that reveal their true intentions. To reframe manipulation, start by recognizing that it is often rooted in the manipulator's own insecurities. People who manipulate do so to gain control, fill a void, or protect themselves from perceived threats. While this doesn't excuse their behavior, it shifts your perspective. Instead of seeing them as powerful or intimidating, you understand that their tactics stem from their struggles, not your shortcomings. This perspective takes the sting out of their actions, empowering you to respond with clarity rather than emotion. Understanding manipulation also involves separating the person from the behavior. While their actions may feel personal, manipulation is often a reflection of their own fears and desires rather than a targeted attack on you. By depersonalizing their behavior, you protect yourself from unnecessary guilt or self-blame. This detachment allows you to address the behavior without being consumed by it. Manipulative tactics often play on your emotions, using guilt, fear, or flattery to steer your decisions. Reframing these actions means identifying the emotional levers they are trying to pull. For example, if someone frequently uses guilt to influence you, recognize that this is their attempt to shift responsibility for their feelings onto you. By labeling the tactic, you create distance from it, making it easier to resist its pull. Another way to reframe manipulation is to focus on patterns rather than isolated incidents. Manipulative behaviors often occur repeatedly, following predictable cycles. Pay attention to how the person reacts in similar situations, whether it's a tendency to exaggerate problems, deflect blame, or seek sympathy. Recognizing these patterns helps you see the larger picture, reducing the emotional impact of individual incidents. Manipulators often distort reality to suit their agenda, using half-truths, omissions, or outright lies to shape your perception. Reframing their actions involves questioning the narrative they present. Ask yourself what evidence supports their claims, and whether their version of events aligns with your own experiences. This practice of questioning protects you from being swept up in their constructed reality. The Stoics taught that perspective is key to maintaining emotional balance. When faced with manipulation, shift your focus from the immediate discomfort to the long-term implications. Consider how engaging with their tactics affects your peace, priorities, and relationships. This broader perspective helps you weigh the cost of involvement and strengthens your resolve to disengage. Manipulators often rely on creating a sense of urgency to compel action. They manufacture crises, deadlines, or high-stakes scenarios to bypass your rational judgment. Reframing these situations involves recognizing the artificial nature of the urgency. Step back and ask whether the situation truly requires immediate action or if it is being exaggerated to manipulate you. By slowing down, you regain control over your decisions. Another aspect of reframing manipulation is recognizing its impact on your boundaries. Manipulative individuals frequently test limits, pushing just far enough to gauge your response before escalating further. When you view their actions as boundary tests rather than personal affronts, you can respond with firmness and clarity. This perspective reinforces your commitment to maintaining healthy boundaries. Reframing also involves shifting the power dynamic in your mind. Manipulation often feels disempowering, as though the manipulator holds all the cards. However, their tactics only work if you engage with them. By refusing to play along, whether through silence, disengagement, or setting boundaries, you reclaim your power. Viewing their actions as attempts to gain what they lack, rather than reflections of your worth, reinforces your emotional independence. Manipulators often seek to isolate you, cutting you off from support systems or alternative perspectives. Reframing this tactic means recognizing it as a strategy to limit your options. Instead of withdrawing, actively seek out connections that provide clarity and balance. Talking to trusted friends, mentors, or counselors helps you see the situation from a different angle, reducing the manipulator's influence. The Stoics emphasized the importance of focusing on what is within your control. Manipulation often feels overwhelming because it creates a sense of helplessness. Reframing their actions involves identifying what you can control in the situation, your responses, your boundaries, and your choices. By concentrating on these elements, you reduce the manipulator's ability to dictate the narrative. Compassion can also play a role in reframing manipulation. While it's important to protect yourself, understanding the struggles that drive manipulative behavior helps you respond with empathy rather than hostility. This doesn't mean tolerating harmful actions, but it allows you to address the situation from a place of strength and understanding rather than fear or anger. Manipulative behavior often thrives on ambiguity. Reframing involves seeking clarity, both in their actions and your responses. Ask direct questions when faced with vague statements or unclear demands. For example, if someone says, "You never support me," respond with, "What specifically do you mean by that?" This approach forces them to clarify their intentions, often revealing inconsistencies or exaggerations. Another powerful way to reframe manipulation is to view it as an opportunity for growth. While the experience is unpleasant, it teaches you valuable lessons about boundaries, self-awareness, and resilience. Each interaction with a manipulative individual strengthens your ability to recognize and navigate similar behaviors in the future. By focusing on what you gain from the experience, you transform it into a source of empowerment. Reframing also involves shifting your emotional response. Manipulators thrive on eliciting strong reactions, whether it's anger, guilt, or frustration. By responding with calmness and neutrality, you disrupt their strategy. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, but channeling them into thoughtful actions rather than impulsive reactions. Your composure becomes a shield against their attempts to destabilize you. Reframing manipulation involves viewing it as a reminder of your own strength. The fact that someone feels the need to manipulate you indicates that they recognize your power, even if they try to undermine it. Use this awareness to reaffirm your worth and commitment to living authentically. When you see manipulation for what it truly is, it loses its hold, leaving you free to move forward with clarity and confidence. By reframing manipulative behaviors, you strip them of their mystique and influence. You see them not as overwhelming forces, but as tactics rooted in fear and insecurity. This perspective empowers you to protect your peace, uphold your values, and navigate relationships with wisdom and strength. In seeing manipulation clearly, you reclaim control over your narrative and your life. Understanding manipulation and reframing its impact leads to a powerful realization. The greatest strength lies in focusing on what is truly within your control. When you stop trying to manage others' actions, thoughts, or feelings, you free yourself from the weight of their games. Instead, you reclaim your energy, your choices, and your peace. The Stoics called this the circle of influence, the practice of directing your efforts where they matter most and releasing the rest. This shift is not just liberating, it's transformative. It elevates you above the petty games of manipulation, enabling you to live with clarity and purpose. Control is an illusion when applied to others. No matter how much effort you expend, you cannot dictate another person's decisions, beliefs, or emotions. Attempting to do so creates frustration, resentment, and wasted energy. Recognizing this truth allows you to let go of the need to intervene or manage. Instead of focusing on what others do, turn inward to examine your reactions, attitudes, and choices. These are the areas where your influence is not only real, but powerful. The first step in embracing your circle of influence is identifying where your energy is being spent. Manipulative individuals often pull you into their drama, diverting your focus from your own priorities. Reflect on the situations where you felt drained, overwhelmed, or overly concerned with someone else's behavior. Ask yourself whether your involvement has brought meaningful change or simply prolonged the tension. This clarity helps you redirect your energy toward actions that align with your values and goals. Focusing on your circle of influence involves practicing acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean tolerating harmful behavior or resigning yourself to an unpleasant situation. It means acknowledging what you cannot change and choosing to focus on what you can. For example, if someone consistently tries to provoke you, you can't control their actions, but you can control your response. By choosing calmness and detachment, you protect your peace while refusing to feed their behavior. Letting go of the need to control others also requires releasing the fear of their opinions. Manipulators often leverage approval or disapproval to steer your actions. When you detach from the need for their validation, you remove their leverage. Focus instead on living in alignment with your principles. When your sense of worth comes from within, others' opinions lose their power to sway you. The practice of gratitude helps ground you in your circle of influence. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking or outside your control to the abundance already present in your life. By appreciating the resources, relationships, and strengths you possess, you create a mindset of empowerment. This perspective helps you approach challenges with resilience and clarity, rather than frustration or despair. Another way to embrace your circle of influence is by simplifying your commitments. Manipulative individuals often thrive on creating complexity, pulling you into situations that distract from your priorities. Simplifying your commitments involves setting clear boundaries around your time and energy. Evaluate each request or obligation by asking whether it aligns with your values and goals. This practice not only reduces stress, but also ensures that your efforts are directed where they have the most impact. Living above the games of manipulation also means choosing your battles wisely. Not every provocation requires a response, and not every conflict deserves your energy. By discerning which situations truly matter, you conserve your strength for what's meaningful. This selective engagement reinforces your control over your focus and prevents others from dictating your priorities. Developing mindfulness further strengthens your ability to stay within your circle of influence. Mindfulness teaches you to observe your thoughts and emotions without being consumed by them. When faced with manipulation or conflict, mindfulness creates space for intentional responses rather than reactive impulses. This practice enhances your ability to stay grounded, even in the face of chaos. Another powerful tool is reframing challenges as opportunities for growth. Instead of viewing manipulation or adversity as obstacles, see them as tests of your strength and clarity. Each challenge becomes a chance to refine your focus, reinforce your boundaries, and deepen your self-awareness. This perspective shifts your energy from resistance to growth, transforming difficulty into empowerment. Living above the games also involves cultivating emotional independence. Emotional independence means finding stability within yourself, rather than relying on others to regulate your mood or sense of worth. Practice self-care, engage in activities that bring joy, and build habits that support your well-being. By nurturing your inner stability, you reduce the impact of external turbulence on your peace. Practicing the Stoic principle of dichotomy of control reinforces your circle of influence. This principle divides the world into two categories: what you can control and what you cannot. By focusing only on the former, you free yourself from the anxiety and frustration of trying to change the unchangeable. This approach simplifies decision-making and helps you prioritize your energy effectively. Another aspect of living above the games is fostering resilience. Resilience doesn't mean avoiding hardship, but navigating it with strength and adaptability. When faced with setbacks, focus on what you can learn and how you can grow. Resilience transforms challenges into stepping stones, allowing you to rise above difficulties without being consumed by them. Building a supportive environment strengthens your ability to live within your circle of influence. Surround yourself with individuals who respect your boundaries, encourage your growth, and share your values. These relationships provide a foundation of trust and support, reinforcing your focus on what truly matters. They also remind you that not every interaction has to be a battle. Healthy connections are rooted in mutual respect, not control. Letting go of the need to manage others' actions also involves cultivating patience. Change, whether in yourself or others, takes time. By focusing on your own growth and leading by example, you inspire change without forcing it. This patience reflects your confidence in your ability to navigate challenges and reinforces your emotional independence. Living above the games requires a commitment to authenticity. Authenticity means staying true to your values and principles, even when faced with pressure to conform. By acting in alignment with your beliefs, you create a life that reflects your true self. This authenticity not only strengthens your sense of purpose, but also attracts relationships and opportunities that align with your values. Forgiveness is another tool for embracing your circle of influence. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior, but releasing the hold it has on your emotions. By forgiving others, you free yourself from resentment and reclaim your energy for more meaningful pursuits. This act of release reflects your choice to prioritize your peace over lingering conflict. Embracing your circle of influence involves celebrating your progress. Growth is a journey, not a destination, and each step forward deserves recognition. By acknowledging your achievements, no matter how small, you reinforce your belief in your ability to live authentically and with purpose. This celebration of progress fuels your motivation and strengthens your commitment to staying within your circle of influence. Living above the games is not about detachment from others, but about reclaiming your focus and energy. By concentrating on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot, you create a life of clarity, balance, and peace. This shift doesn't just protect you from manipulation, it empowers you to live with purpose and authenticity, free from the distractions of others' games. In this space, you thrive, grounded in your values and aligned with your true self. Focusing on what you can control brings clarity and peace, but the foundation of that control is your self-worth. When you truly understand your value, everything changes. Confidence rooted in this knowledge radiates a quiet strength that is magnetic and untouchable. Those who seek to manipulate you, sensing this unwavering self-assurance, are left without leverage. Your presence alone becomes a declaration of boundaries, leaving no room for their games. Recognizing your worth isn't just about self-esteem, it's about creating an aura of respect and authenticity that cannot be undermined. Your value is inherent. It is not something granted by others or measured by external achievements. Yet many people tie their worth to fleeting things, status, appearance, or others' opinions. When your self-worth is externally dependent, it becomes fragile, susceptible to the whims of those around you. Recognizing your intrinsic value begins by detaching from these external markers. Reflect on the qualities, skills, and experiences that make you unique. Consider the lessons you've learned, the challenges you've overcome, and the ways you contribute to the world. These are the elements that define your worth, not external validation. Confidence in your value grows through self-respect. Self-respect is not about perfection. It's about treating yourself with kindness, honesty, and care. When you respect yourself, you naturally set higher standards for how others treat you. You no longer tolerate disrespect or manipulation because you recognize that you deserve better. This quiet confidence sends a clear message. You know your worth, and you will not allow anyone to diminish it. Knowing your value also requires accepting your imperfections. True confidence is not about pretending to be flawless. It's about embracing your humanity. When you accept yourself fully, flaws and all, you become unshakable. Manipulators often prey on insecurities, but self-acceptance removes their foothold. By owning your imperfections, you disarm those who would use them against you. Your imperfections become a source of strength, reminding you that your worth is not diminished by your flaws. Recognizing your worth also involves understanding your boundaries. Boundaries are an expression of self-respect, a way of communicating your needs and limits to the world. When you know your value, setting boundaries becomes natural, not an act of defiance, but one of self-care. You protect your time, energy, and emotions because you understand their worth. This clarity in boundaries creates an environment where manipulation cannot thrive. Building confidence in your worth requires aligning your actions with your values. Each time you act in alignment with your principles, you reinforce your sense of self. This alignment creates a foundation of trust within yourself, a belief that you can rely on your judgment and choices. Over time, this trust blossoms into confidence, making you less susceptible to external pressures or doubts. Your value is not static. It grows as you invest in yourself. This investment comes in many forms: learning new skills, pursuing passions, and nurturing your physical and emotional well-being. Each step you take toward growth adds to your sense of worth, reminding you that you are capable and resilient. This ongoing commitment to yourself creates a momentum that others cannot ignore. Confidence in your value also involves recognizing your contributions. Too often, people downplay their impact, dismissing their achievements or efforts as insignificant. But every contribution, no matter how small, is a reflection of your worth. Whether it's supporting a friend, excelling in your work, or simply showing kindness, these actions matter. By acknowledging your contributions, you reinforce your belief in your value. Gratitude for your journey further strengthens your confidence. Reflecting on the paths you've walked, the obstacles you've overcome, and the growth you've achieved reminds you of your resilience. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to the abundance within you, creating a sense of fulfillment and confidence that cannot be shaken by external factors. Confidence in your worth radiates outward, influencing how others perceive and interact with you. When you carry yourself with self-assurance, you project an aura of respect and authority. This presence discourages manipulation because manipulators seek easy targets, not individuals who are grounded and self-aware. Your confidence becomes a protective shield, signaling that you will not be swayed or diminished. Authenticity is another cornerstone of confidence. When you embrace your true self, you free yourself from the need to conform or please others. Authenticity is magnetic. It draws people toward you who appreciate and respect you for who you are. At the same time, it repels those who would try to control or manipulate you, as they sense they cannot mold you to their will. Developing self-compassion enhances your confidence. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend. It reminds you that mistakes and setbacks are part of the human experience, not reflections of your worth. This mindset allows you to approach challenges with grace, knowing that your value remains intact regardless of the outcome. Surrounding yourself with supportive and uplifting people reinforces your confidence. Positive relationships remind you of your strengths and provide a safe space to grow. These connections also serve as a mirror, reflecting your value back to you. When you are surrounded by those who respect and appreciate you, it becomes easier to see and believe in your worth. Letting go of comparison is another essential step in recognizing your value. Comparison diminishes confidence by shifting your focus to what others have instead of what you possess. When you stop comparing, you reclaim your energy and redirect it toward your growth and goals. This shift reinforces your belief in your unique value, independent of others' achievements. Celebrating your progress builds confidence in your worth. Progress is a testament to your effort, resilience, and growth. By acknowledging each step forward, you remind yourself of your capabilities and potential. This celebration fuels your motivation and strengthens your belief in your ability to overcome challenges and achieve your goals. Trusting your instincts further solidifies your confidence. Your instincts are a reflection of your experiences, knowledge, and intuition. When you trust yourself, you demonstrate a deep belief in your abilities and judgment. This trust empowers you to make decisions with confidence, knowing that you have the wisdom to navigate any situation. Confidence in your worth also involves embracing your independence. Independence is not about rejecting support, but about knowing that your value does not depend on others. When you rely on yourself for validation, motivation, and fulfillment, you become unshakable. This independence creates a sense of freedom, allowing you to live authentically and unapologetically. Your worth is amplified by your ability to learn and adapt. Each challenge you face, each lesson you learn, adds to your depth and strength. This growth reminds you that your value is not fixed. It evolves as you do. Embrace the process of learning and change as a reflection of your resilience and potential. Confidence in your worth creates a ripple effect. When you recognize your value, you inspire others to do the same. Your confidence becomes a source of strength for those around you, fostering mutual respect and authenticity. This ripple effect reinforces your belief in the importance of self-worth, creating a cycle of empowerment and growth. Knowing your true value is not about arrogance or pride. It is about living with integrity and self-respect. It is about standing tall in your worth, unshaken by external opinions or attempts to manipulate. This confidence radiates strength, attracting respect and repelling those who seek to undermine you. In understanding your worth, you step into a life of authenticity, freedom, and unshakable confidence. Understanding your true value naturally leads to a profound realization. Not every relationship or situation deserves your presence. There are moments when the most courageous act is to walk away, not out of anger or resentment, but with dignity and self-respect. Letting go is not a sign of weakness. It is an assertion of your strength and clarity. It is choosing peace over chaos, growth over stagnation, and authenticity over compromise. The Stoics understood this deeply, teaching that walking away with grace is not an escape, but a choice to prioritize your inner harmony. Letting go begins with recognizing when something no longer serves your well-being. Toxic dynamics, whether in personal relationships, work environments, or social circles, drain your energy and erode your self-worth. When interactions consistently leave you feeling diminished, anxious, or unsupported, it's a sign that your peace is being compromised. Acknowledging this truth can be difficult, especially when emotions or shared history are involved, but it is the first step toward reclaiming your life. Clarity is essential in the decision to let go. Often people cling to toxic situations out of hope that things will improve or fear of the unknown. These feelings are valid, but must be balanced with realism. Reflect on the patterns within the dynamic. Have past attempts to address issues led to meaningful change, or do the same conflicts resurface repeatedly? Understanding these patterns helps you make an informed decision, free from wishful thinking or denial. Letting go also requires releasing the fear of judgment. Society often attaches stigma to walking away, viewing it as giving up or failing. However, prioritizing your mental and emotional health is not a failure. It is an act of courage. Others may not understand your decision, but their perspective does not define its validity. Trust in your own judgment and the knowledge that you are choosing what is best for you. Guilt is another barrier to letting go. You may feel responsible for the other person's emotions or fear that your departure will hurt them. While compassion is important, it should not come at the expense of your well-being. Recognize that you are not responsible for managing others' feelings or fixing their lives. Letting go with dignity means offering kindness and understanding while maintaining your boundaries and prioritizing your own peace. Walking away also involves addressing attachment. Emotional bonds can make it difficult to leave, even when the relationship is harmful. These attachments often stem from familiarity, shared memories, or the fear of being alone. Acknowledge the strength of these ties without letting them dictate your decisions. Remind yourself that letting go doesn't erase the positive moments, but creates space for healthier connections and experiences. The act of letting go is as much about embracing the future as it is about releasing the past. Focus on the opportunities and freedom that lie ahead, rather than dwelling on what you are leaving behind. This forward-looking mindset reinforces your decision and helps you move forward with confidence and hope. Forgiveness is a powerful tool in the process of letting go. Forgiveness is not about excusing harm, but about freeing yourself from resentment. Holding on to anger or bitterness keeps you tied to the toxic dynamic, even after you've walked away. Forgiveness allows you to release these emotions, reclaiming your energy and focus. It is an act of liberation, not for the other person, but for yourself. The Stoics taught the importance of accepting what is beyond your control. You cannot change others or undo the past, but you can choose how you respond moving forward. Accepting this truth helps you let go without regret, knowing that you have done your best and that your decision is rooted in self-respect and clarity. Letting go also involves redefining your identity. Toxic relationships often blur your sense of self, leaving you questioning your worth or abilities. Walking away gives you the opportunity to rediscover who you are, independent of the dynamic. Reconnect with your passions, values, and goals. This process of self-reclamation not only heals, but strengthens you for the future. Practical steps can make the process of letting go more manageable. Begin by creating physical and emotional distance. Limit interactions with the person or environment that is causing harm. Use this space to reflect, heal, and gain perspective. Seek support from trusted friends, mentors, or professionals who can provide guidance and encouragement. Their perspective can help you navigate the complexities of letting go with clarity and confidence. Letting go also means creating new habits and routines that support your growth. Replace the time and energy once consumed by the toxic dynamic with activities that nurture your well-being. Whether it's pursuing a hobby, spending time with supportive people, or engaging in self-care, these new habits reinforce your decision and help you build a fulfilling life. Resilience is crucial in the aftermath of walking away. You may encounter moments of doubt, nostalgia, or longing. These feelings are natural and do not diminish the strength of your decision. Allow yourself to feel and process these emotions without being consumed by them. Each time you choose to honor your decision, you reinforce your resilience and commitment to your well-being. Letting go with dignity also involves expressing gratitude for the lessons learned. Even in toxic dynamics, there are opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Reflect on what the experience taught you about your values, boundaries, and strengths. Gratitude shifts your perspective from loss to gain, reminding you of the resilience and wisdom you have cultivated. Another key to letting go is focusing on what you can control. Redirect your energy from trying to change the other person or situation to empowering yourself. Set new goals, invest in your personal development, and nurture relationships that uplift and inspire you. This shift in focus helps you move forward with purpose and confidence. Letting go is not a single act, but an ongoing process. It requires patience, self-compassion, and commitment. There may be moments of struggle, but each step forward reinforces your strength and clarity. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, as a testament to your courage and resilience. Walking away with stoic dignity is not about avoiding conflict or taking the easy way out. It is about choosing integrity, peace, and authenticity over toxicity and chaos. It is a declaration that you value yourself too much to remain in a dynamic that undermines your well-being. In letting go, you do not lose. You gain freedom, clarity, and the opportunity to build a life rooted in respect and fulfillment. Letting go with dignity is an act of liberation and love for yourself and your future. It allows you to step into a space of peace and purpose, free from the weight of toxic dynamics. In this space, you thrive, guided by your values and strengthened by your choice to walk away with grace. Letting go with dignity teaches us to value our peace above all. But there are times when letting go isn't the immediate option, especially when facing persistent manipulators. In such situations, the power of subtlety becomes essential. Reverse psychology, when rooted in Stoic principles, transforms into a quiet yet effective tool to maintain control without confrontation. This art doesn't rely on manipulation, but on a calm, thoughtful approach that disarms those seeking to undermine you. It's not about playing their game. It's about transcending it with tact, resilience, and strategy. Reverse psychology in Stoic interactions starts with emotional neutrality. Manipulators thrive on emotional reactions because these responses feed their sense of control. When you respond calmly, without anger, frustration, or defensiveness, you disrupt their expectations. This neutrality forces them to recalibrate, often leaving them unsettled. A simple, composed, "I understand," or "that's an interesting perspective," can carry more weight than a lengthy explanation or rebuttal. Your calmness becomes an unyielding wall against their attempts to provoke you. One of the most effective ways to use reverse psychology is through agreement. When faced with an exaggerated or manipulative statement, agreeing without sarcasm or resentment can neutralize the tension. For example, if someone accuses you of being overly cautious, responding with, "You're right, I do like to be thorough," takes the wind out of their argument. This response denies them the conflict they sought, redirecting the interaction in a way that preserves your peace. Curiosity is another powerful tool in reverse psychology. When someone attempts to manipulate or provoke you, responding with questions instead of reactions shifts the dynamic. Questions like, "Why do you feel that way?" or "What outcome are you hoping for?" force the other person to explain themselves, often revealing inconsistencies or ulterior motives. Your genuine curiosity, paired with calmness, puts you in control of the conversation, steering it away from their intended path. Silence is an underrated but highly effective component of reverse psychology. Manipulative individuals often expect immediate reactions, but a thoughtful pause can shift the power dynamic. By taking your time to respond, or sometimes not responding at all, you communicate that their tactics do not dictate your behavior. Silence creates discomfort for them, while giving you space to process and choose your next step with intention. Deflection is another strategy grounded in reverse psychology. When someone tries to steer you into an argument or emotional exchange, redirecting the conversation to a neutral or unrelated topic can diffuse their attempts. For instance, if they bring up a sensitive subject to provoke you, responding with, "That's interesting, but have you thought about this instead?" subtly shifts the focus, leaving their effort ineffective. Stoic reverse psychology also involves using their expectations against them. Manipulative individuals often anticipate resistance or conflict, so giving them the opposite response can disarm their strategy. For example, if they demand something unreasonable, responding with, "Let me think about that and get back to you," creates space and prevents them from escalating the situation. This measured response places the control back in your hands. Empathy can play a surprising role in reverse psychology. Responding with understanding, even when faced with manipulation, throws off individuals who expect defensiveness or hostility. Statements like, "I can see why that might be frustrating for you," acknowledge their perspective without conceding to their demands. This approach maintains your composure while subtly shifting the interaction in your favor. Another effective tactic is embracing understatement. Manipulators often exaggerate to elicit strong reactions, but responding with understated calmness diffuses their attempts. If someone accuses you of never caring, replying with, "I do care, but I see things differently," maintains your stance without escalating the situation. This measured response highlights their exaggeration while reinforcing your control. Reverse psychology also involves setting invisible boundaries. These boundaries are not explicitly stated, but are communicated through your behavior. For example, if someone frequently interrupts or dominates conversations, responding with patience and waiting for your turn to speak signals that you won't compete for attention. Over time, this quiet firmness teaches them that their tactics won't yield the results they seek. Humor, when used thoughtfully, is another powerful element of Stoic reverse psychology. Light-hearted responses can diffuse tension and disarm manipulative attempts without direct confrontation. For instance, if someone tries to guilt-trip you, replying with a playful, "That's quite the pitch. Are you sure you're not in sales?" redirects the energy of the interaction, leaving them off balance while preserving your composure. Another aspect of reverse psychology is refusing to engage in the details of manipulation. Manipulative individuals often rely on pulling you into a web of explanations, justifications, or arguments. By staying high level in your responses, such as saying, "That's not something I'm comfortable with," or "I don't see it that way," you avoid being ensnared in their narrative. This refusal to engage on their terms shifts the focus back to your principles. Leveraging optimism is another subtle tactic. Manipulative individuals often operate in a space of negativity, seeking to draw you into their mindset. Responding with optimism, such as, "I believe things will work out," or "Let's focus on the positives here," creates a contrast that disrupts their approach. Your positive outlook not only protects your peace, but also undermines their efforts to destabilize you. Patience is a cornerstone of Stoic reverse psychology. Manipulators often act impulsively, relying on quick reactions to gain the upper hand. By practicing patience, you create a dynamic where they are forced to reveal more of their intentions or grow frustrated by your calmness. This patience empowers you to act thoughtfully, ensuring your responses align with your values and objectives. Reverse psychology in Stoic interactions also involves using their need for control to your advantage. For example, if someone is pushing you to make a decision, replying with, "I trust you'll figure out what's best," places the responsibility back on them. This subtle shift reinforces your independence while subtly frustrating their attempts to dominate the situation. Another key strategy is maintaining a long-term perspective. Manipulative tactics often rely on creating urgency or short-term focus, but responding with a broader view, such as, "Let's take some time to think this through," neutralizes their efforts. This perspective demonstrates your control over the situation, signaling that you won't be rushed into actions or decisions. Stoic reverse psychology is ultimately about remaining grounded in your principles. By staying calm, thoughtful, and composed, you prevent manipulative individuals from dictating the terms of your interactions. These tactics are not about defeating or outsmarting them, but about preserving your peace and integrity. Each response becomes an opportunity to assert your strength and maintain control without engaging in conflict. Using reverse psychology rooted in Stoic principles elevates interactions, allowing you to navigate even the most challenging dynamics with grace and confidence. It is a subtle yet powerful approach that reinforces your boundaries, protects your peace, and ensures you remain true to yourself, no matter the situation. Mastering the art of subtle responses empowers you to navigate manipulative situations with grace, turning potential conflicts into opportunities for quiet victory. Yet, as you wield these strategies, there's another profound aspect of self-mastery that beckons, embracing vulnerability without relinquishing your strength. It's a delicate balance, opening your heart while safeguarding your power. But within this balance lies a deep reservoir of resilience and authentic connection. Vulnerability is often misconstrued as weakness, but in truth, it is a profound source of strength. Allowing yourself to feel and express emotions is a courageous act that fosters genuine relationships and personal growth. However, the fear of exploitation can make vulnerability seem risky, especially when faced with individuals who might use your openness against you. The key is to embrace your emotions fully while maintaining boundaries that protect your well-being. Acknowledging your emotions is the first step toward finding strength in vulnerability. Suppressing feelings doesn't eliminate them, it only buries them, allowing them to fester and potentially resurface in unhealthy ways. By recognizing what you feel, whether it's joy, sadness, anger, or fear, you validate your own experience. This self-validation is empowering. It affirms that your emotions are legitimate and worthy of attention. Expressing emotions thoughtfully is equally important. Sharing your feelings doesn't mean exposing every aspect of your inner world to everyone. Discernment is crucial. Choose trusted individuals with whom you can share openly, creating a safe space for mutual support. In broader contexts, consider the timing, setting, and depth of what you reveal. Thoughtful expression allows you to be authentic without compromising your emotional safety. Building emotional intelligence enhances your ability to navigate vulnerability. Emotional intelligence involves understanding your own emotions, recognizing them in others, and using this awareness to manage interactions effectively. By honing this skill, you become adept at reading situations and gauging how much to share. This awareness helps you maintain control over your emotional landscape, reducing the risk of others exploiting your openness. Establishing clear boundaries is essential when embracing vulnerability. Boundaries are not barriers to connection, but frameworks that define how you engage with others. They protect your emotional well-being by setting limits on what you will tolerate and how you wish to be treated. Communicating your boundaries clearly ensures that others understand your expectations, reducing the likelihood of misunderstandings or overstepping. Self-trust is a cornerstone of finding strength in vulnerability. Trusting yourself means having confidence in your ability to handle whatever arises from being open. It reassures you that even if someone reacts poorly or tries to exploit your emotions, you have the resilience to navigate the situation. This trust stems from knowing your values, strengths, and the coping mechanisms you've developed over time. Practicing self-compassion supports you in this journey. Being kind to yourself when you're feeling vulnerable helps mitigate the fear of judgment or rejection. Self-compassion acknowledges that everyone experiences vulnerability and that it's a natural part of the human condition. This understanding reduces self-criticism and fosters a sense of inner peace. It's also important to recognize that vulnerability invites connection. When you share authentically, you create opportunities for deeper relationships based on trust and mutual respect. Others are often drawn to sincerity, finding comfort in shared experiences and emotions. This connection can be a source of strength, providing support and understanding that enrich your life. However, not everyone will respond positively to your openness. Some may attempt to use your vulnerability against you. To prevent this, remain observant of others' responses. If someone reacts with dismissal, criticism, or attempts to manipulate, take note. These reactions are indicators that you may need to adjust your level of openness with that person. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it's okay to pull back. Developing assertiveness complements vulnerability. Assertiveness allows you to express your needs and feelings openly while respecting others. It empowers you to stand up for yourself if someone tries to exploit your openness. By communicating confidently and respectfully, you reinforce your boundaries and demonstrate self-respect. Mindfulness plays a vital role in balancing vulnerability and strength. Staying present helps you remain attuned to your emotions and the dynamics of your interactions. Mindfulness enables you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, especially in challenging situations. This awareness enhances your ability to protect your emotional well-being while staying true to yourself. Embracing vulnerability also involves accepting uncertainty. Opening up can feel risky because it exposes you to the unknown. However, accepting that you cannot control others' reactions frees you from the fear of negative outcomes. Focus on what you can control, your actions, responses, and attitudes, and let go of the rest. This acceptance reduces anxiety and fosters inner peace. Cultivating resilience strengthens your capacity to handle any consequences of vulnerability. Resilience is the ability to recover from setbacks and adapt to challenges. By building resilience, you reinforce your confidence in facing potential exploitation without being overwhelmed. Practices that enhance resilience include nurturing supportive relationships, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and engaging in activities that boost your self-esteem. Another aspect of finding strength in vulnerability is reframing your perspective on openness. Instead of viewing vulnerability as a liability, see it as a courageous choice to live authentically. This shift in mindset transforms vulnerability from something to be feared into a powerful expression of self. It empowers you to embrace your emotions as integral parts of your identity. Learning from past experiences informs how you navigate vulnerability. Reflect on times when being open led to positive outcomes, as well as instances where it resulted in disappointment. Identify patterns and lessons that can guide your future interactions. This reflection enhances your discernment, enabling you to make informed decisions about when and how to be vulnerable. Balancing vulnerability with pragmatism is also important. While emotional openness fosters connection, practical considerations ensure your well-being. Assess the risks and benefits of sharing in each situation. For example, in professional settings, it may be appropriate to express certain emotions while keeping others private. This balance allows you to maintain authenticity without compromising your position or relationships. Empathy extends both outward and inward. Showing empathy toward others encourages a reciprocal response, fostering mutual understanding and respect. Simultaneously, practicing self-empathy ensures that you honor your feelings and needs. This dual focus strengthens your relationships and supports your emotional health. Recognizing that vulnerability is a shared human experience reduces the fear of exploitation. Everyone has insecurities, fears, and emotions. By acknowledging this commonality, you alleviate the sense of isolation that can accompany vulnerability. This recognition fosters compassion for yourself and others, which diminishes the power of those who might seek to exploit your openness. Education about healthy relationships and boundaries enhances your ability to protect yourself. Understanding what constitutes respectful behavior empowers you to identify and address manipulation or disrespect. Resources such as books, workshops, or counseling can provide valuable insights and strategies for maintaining healthy interactions. Building a supportive network is crucial. Surround yourself with people who respect and appreciate your authenticity. These relationships provide a safe space for vulnerability, offering encouragement and validation. A strong support system acts as a buffer against negative experiences, reinforcing your confidence in being open. Practicing patience with yourself is essential. Navigating vulnerability is a learning process, and it's natural to encounter challenges along the way. Be gentle with yourself if you make mistakes or if others react poorly. Each experience is an opportunity to grow and refine your approach. Developing coping strategies for potential exploitation helps you maintain your power. These strategies might include setting firm boundaries, disengaging from harmful interactions, or seeking support from trusted individuals. Having a plan in place reduces anxiety and increases your confidence in handling difficult situations. Embracing vulnerability also involves celebrating your courage. Acknowledge the bravery it takes to be open in a world that often values stoicism over emotional expression. Recognize that by embracing your emotions, you are fostering deeper connections and personal growth. Understanding that vulnerability and strength are not mutually exclusive is liberating. They coexist, each enhancing the other. Your openness does not diminish your power. Instead, it enriches your life with authenticity and meaningful relationships. This synergy creates a resilient foundation that supports you through challenges and triumphs alike. Reflecting on role models who exemplify strength in vulnerability can inspire you. Consider individuals who have shared their stories, emotions, or struggles publicly and the impact they have made. Their examples illustrate how embracing vulnerability can lead to empowerment and positive change. Practicing gratitude reinforces your journey toward balanced vulnerability. Expressing appreciation for the connections and growth that result from your openness fosters a positive outlook. Gratitude shifts your focus from fear to abundance, enhancing your emotional well-being. Remember that embracing vulnerability is a personal choice that should align with your comfort level and values. There is no right or wrong way to be open. It's about what feels authentic and empowering for you. Trust yourself to navigate this path with wisdom and self-compassion. By finding strength in vulnerability without giving away your power, you enrich your life with deeper connections and personal growth. This balance allows you to experience the fullness of your emotions while maintaining control over your well-being. In embracing this journey, you stand firm in your authenticity, resilient and empowered. Vulnerability, when embraced wisely, strengthens rather than weakens you. It allows for genuine connection and emotional depth while maintaining boundaries that protect your inner peace. Yet, even with careful self-awareness, there are times when manipulative individuals exploit your openness, leaving behind emotional wounds that demand attention. Recovery from such experiences is not just about healing. It is about reclaiming your strength, rediscovering your balance, and moving forward with greater clarity. The Stoic approach to emotional recovery offers a practical and empowering path, guiding you step by step toward restoration and resilience. The first step in emotional recovery is acknowledgement. Denying or minimizing the impact of manipulation can prolong the pain and hinder healing. Accepting that you were affected by another's actions is not a sign of weakness, but a recognition of your humanity. Acknowledgement allows you to confront the experience honestly, creating a foundation for growth. Reflecting on what occurred without self-criticism helps you understand the dynamics at play and identify areas where you can strengthen your emotional defenses. Detachment is a key principle in Stoic recovery. Detachment does not mean suppressing your feelings or avoiding the memory of what happened. Instead, it involves separating your identity and self-worth from the actions of the manipulator. Their behavior reflects their own struggles and choices, not your value. By reframing the situation with this perspective, you free yourself from carrying the emotional burden of their actions. Processing emotions is an essential part of recovery. Unresolved feelings, such as anger, sadness, or betrayal, can linger and resurface if not addressed. Allow yourself the space to feel these emotions fully, without judgment. Journaling, talking to a trusted confidant, or seeking professional counseling can help you navigate these feelings constructively. Expressing your emotions helps release them, preventing them from becoming a persistent source of pain. Reflection plays a crucial role in understanding and learning from the experience. Analyzing the patterns of manipulation, your reactions, and the outcomes provides valuable insights. Consider what red flags were present, how you responded, and what you might do differently in the future. This reflection is not about blaming yourself, but about empowering yourself with knowledge that can guide your interactions moving forward. Self-compassion is an integral part of the Stoic blueprint for recovery. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding, especially when feelings of guilt or self-doubt arise. Recognize that manipulation exploits vulnerabilities, and experiencing it does not diminish your worth or intelligence. Self-compassion reminds you that everyone faces challenges and that healing is a process that requires patience and care. Rebuilding boundaries is a proactive step in regaining your emotional balance. Manipulative experiences often blur or weaken boundaries, leaving you feeling unprotected. Reassess your limits, considering what is acceptable and unacceptable in future interactions. Strengthening these boundaries helps you regain control over your emotional space, reducing the likelihood of future harm. Reclaiming your narrative is a powerful aspect of recovery. Manipulators often attempt to control the narrative of interactions, leaving you questioning your perceptions and experiences. By asserting your truth and owning your story, you restore your sense of agency. This act of self-empowerment reinforces your confidence and helps you move forward with clarity and determination. Practicing mindfulness aids in emotional recovery by anchoring you in the present. Manipulative experiences can leave you ruminating on the past or worrying about the future. Mindfulness techniques, such as deep breathing or meditation, help ground you in the here and now, reducing anxiety and fostering a sense of calm. This presence allows you to focus on healing rather than reliving the pain. Engaging in self-care is vital during the recovery process. Manipulation can leave you feeling drained, both emotionally and physically. Prioritize activities that nurture your well-being, whether it's exercise, creative pursuits, or spending time in nature. Taking care of your body and mind restores your energy and resilience, equipping you to face challenges with renewed strength. Gratitude is a powerful tool for shifting your focus from pain to growth. While it may be difficult to find positives in the aftermath of manipulation, reflecting on what you've learned or the support you've received can foster a sense of gratitude. This practice helps reframe the experience as an opportunity for growth, reminding you of your capacity to overcome adversity. Building resilience is an ongoing process that fortifies your emotional recovery. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulty, but about bouncing back stronger after challenges. Strengthen your resilience by setting achievable goals, seeking support from others, and maintaining a positive outlook. Each step forward reinforces your belief in your ability to navigate future challenges. Forgiveness, while often challenging, is a transformative aspect of recovery. Forgiveness is not about condoning the manipulator's actions, but about releasing the hold their behavior has on your emotions. Holding on to anger or resentment keeps you tethered to the past, whereas forgiveness frees you to focus on your present and future. This release is an act of self-liberation, not a gift to the manipulator. Redefining your sense of self is another crucial step. Manipulative experiences can distort your self-perception, leaving you doubting your instincts or worth. Reconnect with your core values, passions, and strengths to rebuild your sense of identity. This redefinition not only restores your confidence, but also reinforces your commitment to living authentically. Seeking community support strengthens your recovery journey. Surround yourself with individuals who respect and uplift you, creating a network of trust and encouragement. Sharing your experiences with others who have faced similar challenges can provide comfort and perspective. This sense of connection reminds you that you are not alone and that healing is a shared human experience. Education empowers you to protect yourself in future interactions. Learn about common manipulation tactics and strategies for maintaining emotional boundaries. Knowledge is a powerful tool that equips you to recognize and respond to manipulative behaviors effectively. This proactive approach reinforces your confidence and reduces the likelihood of encountering similar experiences. Rebuilding trust is an essential yet delicate aspect of recovery. Manipulation can erode your trust in others, making it difficult to form new connections. Take small steps toward rebuilding trust, starting with individuals who have consistently demonstrated reliability and respect. Trust is a gradual process, and allowing yourself the time and space to rebuild it is an act of self-care. Celebrating progress, no matter how small, reinforces your recovery journey. Each step forward, whether it's setting a boundary, expressing your emotions, or engaging in self-care, is a testament to your resilience. Acknowledge and honor these milestones as evidence of your strength and determination to heal. Integrating the lessons learned into your life completes the recovery process. Use the insights gained from the experience to guide your future interactions and decisions. These lessons serve as a compass, helping you navigate relationships and challenges with greater wisdom and confidence. By applying what you've learned, you transform the experience into a source of empowerment. The Stoic blueprint for emotional recovery is not about erasing the past, but about reclaiming your present and future. It is a journey of healing, growth, and self-discovery that leads to a deeper understanding of yourself and your strengths. Through acknowledgement, reflection, and intentional action, you rebuild your emotional balance, emerging stronger and more resilient. In this process, you reclaim not only your peace, but also your power, stepping forward with clarity and purpose. Recovery brings clarity, resilience, and strength. But what if you could go beyond just healing? What if you could use the manipulative tactics directed at you as tools for empowerment? Manipulation, when met with unwavering self-mastery, loses its sting. The quiet victory lies not in revenge or aggression, but in turning their tactics into opportunities for growth, strategy, and unshakable calm. This isn't about playing their game, it's about mastering your own. Manipulative individuals rely on predictable reactions to maintain control. Their tactics are designed to provoke, destabilize, or confuse, feeding on emotional responses that give them power. The first step to turning these tactics against them is refusing to provide the reaction they seek. Calmness, neutrality, and silence can be your strongest responses. When someone expects frustration and receives serenity, their strategy crumbles. This non-reaction not only protects your peace, but forces the manipulator to confront their lack of control. Understanding the motives behind manipulative tactics further diminishes their power. Manipulators often act out of insecurity, fear, or a need for dominance. Recognizing this doesn't excuse their behavior, but it helps you depersonalize their actions. Instead of internalizing their attacks, view their behavior as a reflection of their struggles. This perspective creates emotional distance, allowing you to approach the situation strategically rather than emotionally. One way to turn manipulation against itself is through redirection. Manipulators often steer conversations or situations toward their desired outcome. Instead of resisting outright, gently shift the focus back to neutral ground or toward a subject that serves your goals. For example, if someone is attempting to guilt-trip you, respond with a question about their well-being or a positive observation. This subtle shift disarms their efforts, leaving them without a foothold. Empathy, when wielded with discernment, is a powerful tool. Acknowledging the manipulator's emotions or struggles can neutralize their tactics while maintaining your integrity. Statements like, "I understand this is important to you," or "I see how you feel that way," show empathy without conceding to their demands. This approach often diffuses tension, as it acknowledges their feelings without allowing them to dominate the interaction. Clarity in communication is another way to dismantle manipulation. Vague statements and insinuations are common tools of manipulators, designed to create doubt or confusion. Responding with directness and specificity forces clarity, undermining their ability to distort the narrative. For instance, if someone implies that you are uncooperative, asking, "Can you explain what you mean by that?" shifts the burden of clarity onto them. This tactic not only exposes their intentions, but also reinforces your confidence. Manipulative individuals thrive on creating conflict, often pitting people against each other to distract from their actions. Refusing to engage in divisive behavior turns their tactic into an empty gesture. Focus on fostering unity and understanding among those involved, redirecting attention away from the manipulator's attempts to sow discord. This approach highlights your resilience and undermines their strategy. Your consistency is a quiet but powerful counter to manipulation. Manipulators often test boundaries repeatedly, looking for weaknesses they can exploit. By maintaining firm and consistent responses, you communicate that their tactics are ineffective. Over time, this consistency erodes their efforts, leaving them with fewer options for manipulation. Leveraging patience is another way to gain the upper hand. Manipulative tactics often rely on urgency, pressuring you into making hasty decisions or reacting impulsively. By slowing the pace and taking time to consider your responses, you disrupt their strategy. Patience allows you to assess the situation thoroughly, ensuring that your actions align with your goals rather than their agenda. Another effective method is using the manipulator's own words against them. Keep track of inconsistencies or contradictions in their statements and calmly reference these when needed. For example, if someone denies making a previous claim, gently remind them of their earlier statement. This approach exposes their dishonesty or manipulation without escalating the situation, reinforcing your position as grounded and composed. Manipulators often attempt to create dependency, making you feel reliant on them for approval, information, or resources. Turning this tactic around involves cultivating self-sufficiency and independence. By demonstrating that you can thrive without their involvement, you undermine their control. Focus on building skills, knowledge, and connections that reinforce your autonomy. Redefining success in the face of manipulation further strengthens your position. Manipulators often frame situations to make you feel as though you've failed or are inadequate. By defining success on your terms, whether it's maintaining your peace, setting boundaries, or achieving a personal goal, you reclaim the narrative. This shift removes their ability to dictate how you perceive yourself or your achievements. Observing and reflecting on patterns in manipulative behavior provides you with a strategic advantage. Manipulators often rely on predictable tactics, repeating the same approaches in different situations. By recognizing these patterns, you can anticipate their moves and prepare thoughtful responses. This foresight reduces the emotional impact of their actions and reinforces your confidence. Protecting your energy is a subtle yet powerful way to counter manipulation. Manipulators seek to exhaust you emotionally, mentally, or physically, leaving you more susceptible to their influence. Prioritize activities and relationships that replenish your energy and limit exposure to draining interactions. This focus on self-care not only protects your well-being, but also signals that you value yourself too much to be diminished by their tactics. One of the most effective ways to turn manipulation against itself is by focusing on your growth. Manipulative experiences, while challenging, often reveal areas where you can strengthen your boundaries, self-awareness, or resilience. By using these situations as opportunities for self-improvement, you transform their attempts to undermine you into catalysts for empowerment. This perspective shifts the power dynamic, making their tactics irrelevant in the face of your growth. Maintaining emotional neutrality is crucial in turning the tables. Manipulators rely on eliciting strong emotions to steer interactions in their favor. By remaining composed and measured, you deny them this leverage. Neutrality doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, but expressing them thoughtfully and without reactionary intensity. This calmness reinforces your control and leaves the manipulator without the reaction they seek. Transparency in your actions and intentions further undermines manipulation. Manipulators often rely on ambiguity to create confusion or doubt. By being open and clear about your motives, decisions and boundaries, you eliminate their ability to distort your actions. This transparency strengthens your position and demonstrates your integrity. Redirecting their tactics toward positive outcomes is another way to reclaim control. For example, if someone uses flattery to manipulate you, acknowledge the compliment without letting it influence your decision. Respond with gratitude, but firmly restate your position or boundary. This approach acknowledges their effort while reinforcing your independence. Your quiet victory over manipulation lies not in confrontation, but in mastery of your emotions, actions, and choices. By responding with resilience, clarity, and calm, you shift the power dynamic, turning their tactics into opportunities for growth and empowerment. This transformation not only protects your peace, but elevates you beyond their games, leaving you stronger, wiser, and unshaken. Mastering the art of disarming manipulation requires a deep understanding of human behavior and emotional strength, but true power lies in sustaining this mastery over time. The real victory is not a single act of resilience or one well-placed boundary. It is a lifestyle that prioritizes emotional freedom and inner peace. This is where Stoic principles come alive. By committing to the long game, you build habits and cultivate mindsets that keep you grounded, no matter what challenges arise. Control becomes not a fleeting achievement, but a lasting state of being. The foundation of the long game in Stoicism is consistency. Consistency reinforces everything you have worked to establish: your boundaries, your resilience, and your emotional equilibrium. This steadiness is not about rigid rules, but about living in alignment with your values day after day. When your actions consistently reflect your principles, you create a strong, reliable foundation that is impervious to manipulation. Manipulators thrive on inconsistency, exploiting gaps or deviations in behavior, but when you remain steady, their attempts lose effectiveness. Building this consistency starts with clarity about your priorities. When you know what truly matters to you, decisions become simpler and distractions fade. Clarifying your priorities helps you say no to what doesn't align with your values, protecting your time and energy. Over time, this focus sharpens your ability to distinguish between what serves your peace and what disrupts it, reinforcing your long-term emotional freedom. Another crucial aspect of the long game is practicing patience. Emotional freedom is not achieved overnight, nor is it something that can be forced. Manipulative tactics often rely on creating urgency or provoking quick reactions. By committing to patience, you refuse to be rushed or pressured, choosing instead to act with thoughtfulness and intention. Patience is a quiet strength that grows stronger each time you use it, fortifying your ability to navigate challenges with grace. Mindfulness is a cornerstone of lasting control. Staying present allows you to respond to situations as they are, not as they appear through the lens of fear or expectation. Mindfulness teaches you to observe your emotions without being overwhelmed by them. This awareness ensures that you remain in control of your actions, no matter what external forces try to sway you. Over time, mindfulness becomes a habit that anchors you in reality, reducing the power of manipulative tactics to destabilize your peace. Another enduring Stoic principle is embracing impermanence. Manipulative situations and difficult emotions, like everything in life, are temporary. Accepting this truth helps you maintain perspective during challenging times. When you view discomfort as fleeting, you are less likely to be consumed by it, allowing you to stay focused on the bigger picture. This mindset also fosters resilience, as you learn to navigate change without clinging to what is beyond your control. Developing gratitude as a daily practice strengthens your emotional freedom. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is lacking or problematic to what is abundant and meaningful in your life. This perspective not only enhances your sense of well-being, but also reduces the impact of external negativity. By regularly acknowledging the positives in your life, you build a reserve of emotional strength that sustains you during difficult moments. Self-reflection is a powerful tool for maintaining long-term control. Regularly assessing your actions, decisions, and emotional responses helps you stay aligned with your principles. Reflection allows you to identify patterns, celebrate progress, and make adjustments as needed. This habit ensures that you continue to grow and adapt, keeping you one step ahead of challenges and manipulative behaviors. A key element of the long game is maintaining healthy boundaries. Over time, boundaries can weaken if they are not consistently upheld. Revisiting and reinforcing your boundaries ensures they remain effective in protecting your emotional space. Communicating these boundaries with clarity and respect strengthens your relationships while safeguarding your peace. The practice of detachment further solidifies your emotional freedom. Detachment is not indifference, but a conscious choice to separate your sense of self from external events or others' opinions. This practice frees you from the need for validation or control, allowing you to focus on what truly matters. Over time, detachment becomes a natural part of your mindset, providing a buffer against manipulation and emotional turbulence. Investing in your growth ensures that your emotional freedom continues to expand. Learning new skills, exploring new perspectives, and pursuing personal development keep you engaged and fulfilled. Growth reinforces your sense of purpose and reminds you that you are in control of your own path. This forward momentum leaves little room for manipulation to take hold, as you are focused on building a life that aligns with your values. Practicing forgiveness is another vital component of the long game. Holding on to anger or resentment ties you to past hurts, limiting your emotional freedom. Forgiveness allows you to release these burdens, creating space for peace and growth. This release is not about excusing harmful behavior, but about choosing to prioritize your well-being over lingering negativity. Maintaining emotional independence is central to lasting control. Emotional independence means finding stability within yourself rather than relying on others to regulate your feelings. This independence grows stronger with practice as you learn to meet your own needs and validate your own worth. Over time, it becomes a source of resilience, ensuring that your emotional state is not easily influenced by external forces. Fostering connections with supportive individuals enhances your long-term emotional freedom. Positive relationships provide encouragement, perspective, and mutual respect. These connections serve as a reminder that not all interactions are fraught with manipulation or conflict. Surrounding yourself with uplifting people creates an environment where your peace and growth are nurtured. Maintaining perspective is essential in the long game. Manipulative tactics can feel overwhelming in the moment, but stepping back to view the situation in a broader context reduces its impact. Perspective reminds you that setbacks are temporary and that you have the strength to overcome them. This mindset helps you stay grounded even in the face of challenges. Celebrating small victories reinforces your commitment to the long game. Each step forward, whether it's setting a boundary, remaining calm under pressure, or embracing patience, is a testament to your progress. Acknowledging these achievements boosts your confidence and motivation, reminding you of your capacity to sustain emotional freedom. Stoic principles also teach the importance of focusing on what you can control. This focus minimizes the frustration and anxiety that come from trying to change what is beyond your influence. By directing your energy toward your actions, attitudes, and choices, you empower yourself to navigate life with clarity and purpose. Maintaining a sense of purpose sustains your emotional freedom over time. Purpose provides direction and meaning, anchoring you in what matters most. When you are guided by a clear sense of purpose, external distractions and manipulative tactics lose their power. Purpose fuels your resilience, reminding you of the bigger picture and helping you stay committed to your goals. The long game is not about perfection, but perseverance. There will be moments of difficulty, doubt, and setbacks, but each challenge is an opportunity to reinforce your commitment to Stoic principles. By embracing this journey with patience and dedication, you build a life rooted in emotional freedom and inner peace. Through consistent effort and the application of Stoic wisdom, you create a framework for lasting control. This framework not only protects your peace, but empowers you to thrive in any situation. The long game is a testament to your strength and resilience, a steady path toward a life of clarity, balance, and authenticity. Cultivating a life guided by Stoic principles ensures resilience and emotional freedom, but there are times when life's weight feels unbearable. In these moments, finding enthusiasm for living can feel distant. Yet, Stoicism holds profound lessons for reigniting that spark. These lessons go beyond theory. They become lifelines, grounding you in the present and reminding you that even in your darkest hours, meaning and purpose remain within reach. These truths don't just guide you, they empower you to rise stronger, steadier, and more in tune with what truly matters. The first truth that helped restore my enthusiasm for life was learning to embrace the present moment fully. Stoicism teaches that dwelling on the past or fearing the future robs us of the only time we truly have, now. Redirecting my energy from worrying about what could have been to appreciating what has allowed me to find small joys, even amid challenges. Whether it was the warmth of the sun, the comfort of a familiar routine, or the simple act of breathing, the present became a source of peace and gratitude. This shift in focus created a sense of stability, grounding me in the reality of the moment rather than the uncertainty of the future. Another lesson was the power of perspective. When life feels overwhelming, the mind often amplifies problems, making them seem insurmountable. Stoicism encourages zooming out, examining challenges within the broader context of life. I began asking myself whether the issue I was facing would matter a year from now or even a month later. This perspective transformed obstacles into manageable tasks, reducing their emotional impact. It reminded me that most difficulties are temporary, and each moment of struggle carries within it the seed of growth. The lesson of control became a cornerstone of my recovery. Stoicism's dichotomy of control emphasizes focusing on what is within your power and letting go of what is not. When I was down, I realized how much of my distress came from trying to change things beyond my influence, others' opinions, outcomes of decisions, or events outside my reach. Redirecting my efforts toward actions and choices I could influence restored a sense of agency and progress. Each small step forward, however modest, reinforced the idea that I could shape my experience of life. Gratitude emerged as a powerful tool for finding joy. Stoicism doesn't dismiss hardship, but teaches us to appreciate what we often overlook. When I began actively acknowledging the good in my life, health, loved ones, opportunities, I felt my perspective shift. Gratitude wasn't about ignoring pain, it was about balancing it with an awareness of abundance. Writing down daily gratitudes became a ritual, anchoring me to the positive and reminding me that even in difficulty, there was still much to appreciate. Acceptance was another transformative Stoic lesson. Resisting reality only deepens suffering, but embracing what is allows for peace and clarity. I learned to stop fighting against circumstances I couldn't change. This wasn't about giving up. It was about redirecting energy toward things that mattered. Acceptance brought relief, freeing me from the exhausting cycle of wishing things were different. It allowed me to focus on solutions and adapt to challenges with a calm, determined spirit. Self-reflection became a vital practice. The Stoics encourage daily examination of one's thoughts, actions, and motivations. Taking time to reflect helped me identify patterns, both positive and negative, in how I was approaching life. This awareness enabled me to make conscious changes, aligning my actions with my values. Reflection became a space for growth, a chance to reconnect with my purpose and assess how I was living each day. Stoicism also taught me the importance of finding purpose in small acts. When life felt overwhelming, larger goals seemed unattainable. Shifting my focus to meaningful daily actions, helping someone, learning something new, or simply showing kindness, restored a sense of purpose. These small victories built momentum, gradually rekindling my enthusiasm for life. Purpose wasn't a grand destination, it was something I could create in the present moment. Another lesson was learning to view setbacks as opportunities. Stoicism emphasizes the value of adversity in building character and resilience. Instead of seeing challenges as failures, I began framing them as lessons. Each struggle became a chance to grow, refine my values, and develop strength. This mindset transformed difficulties into stepping stones, each one bringing me closer to a deeper understanding of myself and my capabilities. The practice of detachment offered profound relief. Emotional turmoil often stems from clinging too tightly to outcomes or expectations. Letting go of the need for things to unfold a certain way freed me from unnecessary stress. Detachment didn't mean I stopped caring. It meant I cared wisely, focusing on effort rather than results. This shift allowed me to engage with life fully while maintaining emotional equilibrium. The lesson of interconnectedness brought a sense of belonging and purpose. Stoicism reminds us that we are part of a larger whole, connected to the world and those around us. Recognizing this truth helped me move beyond self-focused struggles and find meaning in contributing to others. Whether it was supporting a friend, volunteering, or simply listening with empathy, these connections reminded me that life is richer when shared. These lessons didn't just help me recover, they transformed how I approached life. They provided a framework for navigating challenges with grace and finding joy in the everyday. Enthusiasm for life isn't about constant happiness, it's about embracing each moment with courage, gratitude, and purpose. Stoicism became my anchor, guiding me back to myself and reigniting my passion for living fully and authentically. Embracing Stoic principles to find enthusiasm for life reveals a deep truth. Real transformation often begins not when you hold on tighter, but when you learn to release what is weighing you down. The act of letting go, far from being a loss, is a powerful catalyst for incredible change. It shifts your focus from external forces you cannot control to the internal strength you can cultivate. Letting go is not about giving up. It is about gaining clarity, freedom, and the ability to live in alignment with your values and purpose. The first transformative impact of letting go is the creation of emotional space. Holding on to resentment, fear, or regret occupies mental and emotional energy that could be used for growth and self-discovery. Letting go releases this burden, making room for creativity, joy, and peace. It is like clearing a cluttered room. Once the unnecessary is removed, you can breathe freely and focus on what truly matters. This newfound space allows you to invest in experiences and relationships that align with your values, enriching your life. Letting go also enhances your resilience. When you release attachment to specific outcomes, you become more adaptable to life's uncertainties. By focusing on effort rather than results, you reduce the stress and disappointment that often accompany unmet expectations. This adaptability strengthens your ability to navigate challenges with grace, as you are no longer tethered to a single path or result. It allows you to pivot when circumstances change, transforming obstacles into opportunities. Another profound shift occurs in your relationships. Holding on to grudges or unmet expectations can create tension and distance. Letting go of these emotional anchors fosters forgiveness and understanding, allowing for deeper connections. This doesn't mean tolerating harmful behavior, but rather releasing the grip of negativity that hinders your peace. Letting go creates the freedom to engage with others authentically, without the weight of past conflicts clouding the present. Letting go also sharpens your focus. When you release distractions or pursuits that no longer serve you, your attention becomes laser-focused on what truly matters. This clarity empowers you to prioritize your goals and align your actions with your purpose. By letting go of what drains your energy, you enhance your productivity and sense of fulfillment. Every decision becomes more intentional, driving you closer to a life of meaning and balance. The act of letting go fosters emotional independence. Clinging to external validation or approval places your sense of worth in the hands of others, leaving you vulnerable to manipulation and disappointment. Releasing this need liberates you, allowing you to find confidence within yourself. Emotional independence strengthens your self-trust, as you rely on your own judgment and values to guide your choices. This autonomy not only enhances your peace, but also reinforces your resilience against external pressures. Letting go also cultivates a profound sense of gratitude. When you stop clinging to what you lack or fear losing, you become more attuned to the abundance already present in your life. Gratitude shifts your perspective from scarcity to sufficiency, reminding you of the many blessings you often overlook. This practice enriches your experience of life as you focus on what is rather than what could be. Gratitude becomes a source of joy and contentment, grounding you in the present. The practice of letting go strengthens your ability to embrace impermanence. Life is in constant flux, and clinging to what is temporary creates unnecessary suffering. Accepting impermanence allows you to engage fully with the present without the fear of loss. This acceptance doesn't diminish the value of experiences or relationships, but enhances them as you cherish them for what they are in the moment. It frees you from the futile effort of trying to control what cannot be controlled, allowing you to flow with life's natural rhythms. Another transformative aspect of letting go is the development of self-awareness. The process of identifying what you need to release requires introspection and honesty. It encourages you to examine your attachments, fears, and desires, deepening your understanding of yourself. This self-awareness is a powerful tool for growth, as it highlights areas where you can make positive changes. By letting go of what no longer serves you, you align more closely with your true self. Letting go also reinforces your courage. Releasing attachments often involves stepping into the unknown, which can be daunting. However, each act of letting go builds your confidence in facing uncertainty. It reminds you of your strength and capacity to adapt, even when the path ahead is unclear. This courage becomes a cornerstone of your resilience, empowering you to take risks and pursue your goals with determination. The process of letting go fosters forgiveness, not just toward others, but also toward yourself. Holding on to self-criticism or regret can weigh heavily on your sense of self-worth. Letting go of these judgments creates space for self-compassion, allowing you to acknowledge your mistakes without being defined by them. This forgiveness is liberating, enabling you to move forward with a renewed sense of purpose and clarity. Letting go also enhances your ability to live in the present. Attachments often keep you tethered to the past or fixated on the future, robbing you of the here and now. Releasing these attachments brings your focus back to the present moment, where life unfolds. This presence allows you to engage fully with your experiences, relationships, and goals, creating a deeper sense of fulfillment and joy. Another significant change is the reduction of stress. Clinging to control or specific outcomes often creates anxiety as you strive to manage what is beyond your influence. Letting go alleviates this pressure, allowing you to approach life with greater ease and calm. This reduction in stress enhances your overall well-being, improving both your mental and physical health. Letting go also deepens your sense of purpose. When you release distractions or pursuits that no longer align with your values, you create space to focus on what truly matters. This alignment strengthens your sense of direction, guiding you toward a life of meaning and authenticity. Each decision becomes an opportunity to honor your values and live with intention. The practice of letting go nurtures compassion. Releasing judgment and resentment opens your heart to understanding and empathy, both toward yourself and others. Compassion fosters connection and reduces conflict, enriching your relationships and sense of community. This openness creates a ripple effect, spreading kindness and understanding in your interactions. Letting go also strengthens your ability to adapt to change. Life's unpredictability often challenges your sense of stability, but releasing attachments to specific outcomes prepares you to navigate these shifts with resilience. Adaptability becomes a skill you carry with you, enabling you to face life's twists and turns with confidence and grace. Letting go connects you to your inner peace. The act of releasing what weighs you down clears the path to a quieter, more centered state of being. This peace is not dependent on external circumstances, but arises from within, providing a steady foundation that carries you through life's challenges. It is a profound reminder that true freedom comes not from controlling the external world, but from mastering your internal landscape. Through letting go, you create space for transformation, growth, and joy. The process is not always easy, but its rewards are immense, offering clarity, freedom, and a deeper connection to yourself and the world around you. By embracing this practice, you unlock the incredible changes that arise when you release what no longer serves you, stepping into a life of purpose, balance, and peace. Letting go transforms your inner world, creating space for clarity and peace. But there are moments when the mind resists. When someone occupies your thoughts relentlessly, it raises questions about connection, emotions, and whether the intensity of your feelings is mirrored by the other person. This reflection isn't about control or external validation. It's about understanding the nature of thought, emotion, and the ways Stoicism can guide you back to balance. The human mind is a complex landscape, and persistent thoughts about someone often reflect unmet needs, unresolved feelings, or a longing for connection. It's natural to wonder if these thoughts are shared, but focusing on this question can become a trap. Stoicism teaches that what lies outside your control, such as another person's thoughts or feelings, should not dictate your inner peace. Shifting your focus inward helps you redirect energy from the unknown to the actionable, from questions you cannot answer to the truths you can live by. Persistent thoughts about someone are a signal, not a verdict. They point to areas in your life that may need attention or healing. Reflecting on why this person occupies your mind so deeply allows you to uncover underlying emotions or experiences. Perhaps it's admiration, unresolved conflict, or a sense of longing. By identifying the root, you can address the feelings directly, reducing their hold over you. This clarity is empowering as it replaces confusion with understanding. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of emotional discipline, not suppression. It's not about denying the presence of these thoughts, but about choosing how you respond to them. When thoughts of someone become overwhelming, the practice of detachment helps create distance. Detachment does not mean indifference. It means observing your thoughts without being consumed by them. This practice allows you to engage with your emotions thoughtfully rather than letting them dictate your actions. The concept of projection is also valuable to consider. Often when someone dominates your thoughts, it's less about them and more about what they represent to you. They might symbolize a hope, a fear, or an unmet need. Recognizing this projection shifts the focus from the external to the internal, guiding you toward deeper self-awareness. By understanding what you're projecting, you gain insight into your desires and vulnerabilities, which can lead to meaningful growth. Stoicism teaches the power of perspective. When someone occupies your thoughts, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. Expanding your perspective helps put these feelings into context. Reflect on the role this person plays in your life and whether their significance aligns with the energy you're investing in them. This perspective often reveals discrepancies, highlighting areas where your focus can be better directed. The practice of gratitude can also shift your mental landscape. Persistent thoughts about someone often stem from a sense of lack or longing. Gratitude redirects your attention to the abundance already present in your life. By acknowledging the people, experiences, and opportunities that bring you joy, you reduce the emotional intensity tied to a single person. This practice fosters balance, reminding you that your worth and fulfillment are not dependent on any one relationship. Mindfulness is a powerful tool for managing persistent thoughts. By bringing your awareness to the present moment, you interrupt the cycle of rumination. Activities that require focus, such as meditation, journaling, or creative pursuits, help anchor your mind in the now. Mindfulness creates a buffer between you and your thoughts, reducing their intensity and allowing you to engage with them more objectively. Stoicism also encourages acceptance of uncertainty. When thoughts of someone dominate your mind, it's often driven by a desire for answers or closure. Acceptance teaches you to find peace in the unknown, to let go of the need for certainty about their feelings or thoughts. This shift liberates you from the mental loop of wondering and waiting, allowing you to focus on what you can control, your own well-being and actions. Self-compassion is vital during this process. Persistent thoughts can lead to self-criticism as you question why you can't simply move on or think about something else. Treating yourself with kindness and understanding helps alleviate this inner conflict. Recognize that thoughts are a natural part of the human experience and that navigating them with patience and care is a strength, not a weakness. Setting boundaries for your mind is another effective strategy. While you cannot control the initial emergence of a thought, you can choose how much attention you give it. Limiting the time you spend dwelling on someone can prevent those thoughts from consuming your energy. This boundary might involve redirecting your focus to activities or goals that align with your values, creating a healthier mental balance. The Stoic practice of reframing offers additional guidance. Persistent thoughts about someone can feel like a burden, but reframing them as an opportunity for growth changes the narrative. Each thought becomes a chance to practice mindfulness, detachment, or gratitude. This shift transforms what feels like an emotional weight into a pathway for resilience and self-discovery. Connection is a natural human desire, and thoughts about someone often reflect a longing for closeness or understanding. Stoicism teaches that while connection is valuable, it should not come at the expense of your inner peace. By nurturing your relationship with yourself, you create a foundation of strength and contentment that enhances all other connections. This self-focus doesn't diminish your care for others. It enriches it by making your interactions more intentional and authentic. Persistent thoughts about someone may also highlight areas where forgiveness is needed, either for them or for yourself. Unresolved feelings often anchor the mind to the past, preventing you from moving forward. Forgiveness is not about excusing behavior, but about releasing its hold on you. It's an act of liberation, allowing you to reclaim your mental and emotional energy. Redirecting your focus to personal growth is another way to navigate these thoughts. When someone occupies your mind, it can overshadow your own goals and aspirations. Reconnecting with what inspires and motivates you shifts your attention back to your path. Each step you take toward personal growth diminishes the intensity of external preoccupations, reinforcing your sense of purpose and direction. The question of whether someone is thinking about you is ultimately beyond your control. Stoicism teaches that seeking answers to unanswerable questions only creates frustration. Instead, redirect your energy toward actions and thoughts that contribute to your well-being. This shift not only eases your mental burden, but also fosters a sense of empowerment as you reclaim your agency over your thoughts and emotions. Building emotional independence is key to breaking free from persistent thoughts. Emotional independence means finding fulfillment within yourself rather than relying on external validation. This strength grows through practices like mindfulness, self-reflection, and gratitude, each reinforcing your ability to stand grounded in your own worth. Persistent thoughts about someone do not diminish your strength. They are an opportunity to deepen your understanding of yourself and your emotional world. By approaching these thoughts with curiosity, compassion, and intention, you transform them from a source of distress into a pathway for growth. Through Stoicism, you learn to navigate these experiences with grace, turning inward for answers and emerging with clarity, balance, and resilience. When someone occupies your mind persistently, the silence from their side can feel like an unanswered question, a void that seems to demand your attention. But the act of ignoring is far more revealing than it first appears. It may seem like power lies in the one who chooses silence, but in truth, the response you craft to that silence determines the outcome. From a Stoic perspective, the greatest weakness of the person who ignores you is not in their act of withdrawal, but in their underestimation of your capacity to rise above it. When someone chooses to ignore you, it reflects more about their emotional state than your worth. Stoicism reminds us that what others do or fail to do is outside our control, and thus it should not dictate our peace. Their choice to withdraw or disregard is often rooted in their own struggles, fear, discomfort, or an inability to engage meaningfully. Understanding this allows you to depersonalize their actions, reducing the emotional weight you might otherwise carry. Ignoring someone as a tactic often aims to provoke an emotional reaction. It feeds on uncertainty and self-doubt, as it creates an imbalance where one person feels left hanging. By choosing not to react with frustration or desperation, you reclaim your power. Your calm, grounded response disarms the intended effect of their silence. When you refuse to let their lack of acknowledgement disrupt your inner peace, you highlight the strength in your ability to rise above. The act of ignoring is inherently passive, and passivity rarely leads to meaningful outcomes. Stoicism emphasizes action rooted in virtue and purpose. When faced with someone who ignores you, focusing on your own actions ensures that their inaction does not stall your growth. Pursuing your goals, maintaining your routines, and prioritizing your well-being send a clear message, not to them, but to yourself, that your life continues to hold value and direction independent of their acknowledgement. Ignoring can be an attempt to control or manipulate the narrative of a relationship or interaction. Yet, control is an illusion when viewed through the lens of Stoicism. The person who ignores forfeits their role in meaningful communication, leaving you the opportunity to steer the dynamic with intentionality. Whether you choose to address their silence directly, shift your focus elsewhere, or let the connection fade, the choice is yours, a demonstration of agency and autonomy. Silence, while frustrating, can also be an opportunity. It creates space for reflection and clarity. In the absence of their voice, you have the chance to evaluate the relationship, interaction, or dynamic more objectively. What value does their presence add to your life? Is their absence truly a loss, or does it reveal truths about the connection that you may have overlooked? This introspection can lead to important realizations, shaping how you move forward with wisdom and purpose. When someone ignores you, it can amplify feelings of rejection or inadequacy. Stoicism, however, teaches that your worth is not determined by external validation. Your value is intrinsic, not contingent on the attention or approval of another. Reaffirming this truth shifts the power dynamic, reminding you that their silence cannot diminish your inherent dignity. The person who ignores you may believe that their absence wields power, but this belief is often rooted in their own insecurity. By choosing not to engage in their game, you expose the fragility of their tactic. Ignoring becomes ineffective when met with self-assurance and composure. Your ability to maintain equilibrium in the face of their withdrawal reveals a strength they cannot match. Silence can also be a mask for avoidance. It is easier to ignore than to confront, to disengage rather than resolve. Stoicism encourages courage in facing life's challenges, including difficult conversations or relationships. By recognizing their silence as avoidance, you shift your focus from seeking their engagement to embracing your own bravery. This bravery allows you to address the situation honestly or to walk away with grace, depending on what serves your peace. The absence of communication can sometimes be a gift in disguise. It creates an opportunity to redirect your energy toward people, pursuits, and goals that enrich your life. Instead of investing time and thought into someone who withholds their presence, you can cultivate relationships and activities that reciprocate your effort and attention. This redirection not only protects your peace, but also reinforces your commitment to living a life aligned with your values. Ignoring as a tactic ultimately reveals a lack of emotional maturity. Stoicism emphasizes the cultivation of virtues such as wisdom, courage, and justice. Engaging with someone who chooses silence over dialogue often leads to imbalance and frustration. By focusing on embodying these virtues yourself, you set a higher standard for your interactions and relationships. This standard ensures that you surround yourself with individuals who value mutual respect and growth. The person who ignores you inadvertently highlights their own limitations. They underestimate your resilience, assuming their withdrawal will leave you weakened or uncertain. Yet, it is precisely in these moments that your strength is tested and proven. Each time you respond to their silence with dignity and poise, you reinforce your ability to navigate challenges with grace. When faced with being ignored, there is power in choosing clarity over confusion. Addressing the situation directly, whether through a thoughtful message or an intentional conversation, places the responsibility of response back on them. If they continue to disengage, their choice speaks volumes about the connection's value. This clarity allows you to move forward without lingering questions, freeing you from the hold of uncertainty. Ultimately, the greatest weakness of the person who ignores you lies in their inability to engage meaningfully. Relationships thrive on communication, understanding, and mutual effort. By withdrawing, they forfeit the opportunity to build something meaningful. Stoicism teaches us to accept what is beyond our control, focusing instead on what we can create and sustain. Their silence, then, becomes irrelevant in the face of your commitment to living authentically and purposefully. Ignoring is not a reflection of your worth, but of their limitations. By embracing Stoic principles, you rise above the emotional games, finding strength in your ability to remain composed, self-assured, and focused on what truly matters. Their weakness becomes apparent, not through confrontation, but through your unshaken commitment to peace and growth. In this, you demonstrate the quiet power of resilience, a force far greater than their silence. Recognizing the limitations of those who resort to silence reveals an important truth about human dynamics. True influence and connection do not require noise or grand gestures. The most compelling force often speaks without words. Silent attraction is not about manipulation or pretense. It is about embodying qualities that naturally draw others toward you. Stoicism offers a pathway to cultivate these habits, creating a magnetic presence rooted in authenticity, strength, and virtue. At the heart of silent attraction is self-assurance. Confidence, not arrogance, is an energy that speaks volumes. It arises from knowing who you are and standing firm in your values. When you exude self-assurance, you communicate that your worth is not contingent on external approval. This quiet strength is deeply appealing because it suggests reliability and a sense of inner stability. Confidence born from integrity resonates far more than superficial bravado, as it signals a depth that invites genuine connection. Another key element of silent attraction is attentiveness. Being present with others, truly listening and engaging with sincerity creates a sense of connection that is rare and powerful. People are drawn to those who make them feel seen and valued. Stoicism teaches the importance of focusing fully on the moment, and when applied in your interactions, this attentiveness becomes a beacon of trust and respect. It signals that you value the other person's presence, making them feel both comfortable and appreciated. Restraint is another habit that enhances your magnetic presence. Speaking less but with purpose gives weight to your words. When you choose your moments to speak with care, others are more likely to listen and value your input. Restraint also demonstrates emotional control, a core Stoic principle. By not reacting impulsively or oversharing, you maintain an aura of mystery and depth. This composure not only commands respect, but also piques curiosity, drawing others toward you. Stoicism emphasizes the cultivation of virtue, and living in alignment with your values is a powerful attractor. Integrity, kindness, and fairness are qualities that naturally inspire admiration and trust. When your actions consistently reflect your principles, you become a person others are drawn to, not because of external charm, but because of the authenticity and reliability you represent. Virtue-based attraction is enduring, as it speaks to the deeper qualities that create meaningful connections. Authenticity itself is an attractive habit. Pretending to be something you are not may gain attention temporarily, but it fails to build lasting respect or admiration. Stoicism encourages self-reflection and self-awareness, allowing you to embrace your true self. This authenticity radiates confidence and sincerity, which are universally appealing. People are drawn to those who are comfortable in their own skin, as it creates an environment where others feel safe to be themselves. Generosity, both of spirit and action, enhances your presence. Being generous with your time, attention, and kindness fosters goodwill and trust. Stoicism teaches that true generosity arises not from seeking recognition, but from a genuine desire to contribute to the well-being of others. This selflessness, when balanced with healthy boundaries, creates an aura of warmth and approachability that naturally attracts others. A calm demeanor rooted in emotional discipline is another magnetic quality. In a world often filled with stress and chaos, the ability to remain composed and centered is both rare and admirable. Stoicism's emphasis on controlling your reactions and focusing on what is within your power allows you to navigate challenges with grace. This calmness draws others to you, as it suggests a strength that can weather life's storms. It also creates a sense of stability, making people feel secure in your presence. Another habit that exudes silent attraction is purposefulness. Living with intention and pursuing meaningful goals signals ambition and direction. Stoicism encourages clarity about what matters most, and when you align your actions with your values, you naturally project a sense of purpose. This focus is compelling, as it suggests that you are guided by principles rather than whims. People are drawn to those who know where they are going and why, as it inspires confidence and admiration. Gratitude is a subtle yet powerful attractor. A person who approaches life with gratitude exudes positivity and contentment, qualities that are inherently appealing. Stoicism teaches the importance of appreciating what you have and finding joy in the present moment. This attitude not only enhances your own well-being, but also creates an inviting energy that others gravitate toward. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, making your presence uplifting and encouraging. Physical presence also contributes to silent attraction. While inner qualities are paramount, the way you carry yourself can amplify your magnetic presence. Stoicism's teachings on discipline and self-respect extend to how you present yourself to the world. Maintaining good posture, grooming, and a composed demeanor communicates that you value yourself and those around you. This self-respect is both noticeable and attractive, as it reflects care and attention to detail. Empathy rounds out the habits of silent attraction. The ability to understand and connect with others on an emotional level fosters deep trust and connection. Stoicism encourages compassion without losing yourself in others' emotions. This balance allows you to offer genuine support and understanding while maintaining your own peace. Empathy bridges the gap between individuals, creating bonds that are built on mutual respect and care. These habits, when practiced with intention, cultivate a presence that speaks louder than words. Silent attraction is not about seeking attention or approval, but about living in alignment with your values and allowing that alignment to naturally draw others toward you. Stoicism provides the framework for developing these qualities, guiding you to embody authenticity, virtue, and purpose. Through these habits, you exhale an undeniable magnetism that is both inspiring and enduring. The qualities that silently attract others often reflect a life of intentional action, but beneath that allure lies a question many grapple with. Why do certain patterns persist, even when the consequences are clear? Making the same mistakes repeatedly can feel like an invisible barrier, holding you back from growth and fulfillment. Yet, Stoicism offers profound insights into breaking these cycles, urging you to face your habits, choices, and thoughts with honesty and courage. The path to change lies not in avoiding discomfort, but in confronting it, with wisdom as your guide. Mistakes often stem from a lack of self-awareness. Without understanding the root causes of your actions, it's easy to repeat patterns without realizing it. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of reflection, encouraging you to examine not just what happened, but why it happened. By consistently assessing your thoughts, behaviors, and decisions, you gain clarity about the factors driving your mistakes. This awareness is the first step toward change, as it sheds light on the unconscious habits and beliefs that keep you stuck. Another reason mistakes recur is the human tendency to seek comfort, even when it leads to negative outcomes. Familiarity, even when it's harmful, can feel safer than venturing into the unknown. Stoicism challenges this instinct by urging you to embrace voluntary discomfort. By stepping outside your comfort zone intentionally, you build resilience and adaptability, weakening the grip of fear and hesitation. This practice not only prevents old patterns from taking hold, but also strengthens your ability to make choices aligned with your values. Emotional impulses are another significant factor behind repeated mistakes. Reacting out of anger, fear, or desire often leads to decisions that prioritize immediate relief over long-term well-being. Stoicism teaches the value of pausing before acting, creating a space to evaluate your emotions and their influence. This pause allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, reducing the likelihood of repeating past errors. Over time, this habit of mindfulness becomes a protective barrier against the pull of destructive emotions. A lack of clear priorities can also contribute to recurring mistakes. When your actions are not guided by a strong sense of purpose or direction, it's easy to be swayed by distractions or short-term temptations. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of identifying what truly matters and aligning your choices with those priorities. By focusing on your core values and goals, you create a framework for decision-making that minimizes the risk of falling into old patterns. The fear of failure often plays a role in repeating mistakes. Ironically, this fear can lead you to avoid addressing the underlying issues, perpetuating the cycle. Stoicism reframes failure as an opportunity for growth, encouraging you to view setbacks as lessons rather than judgments on your worth. This perspective shifts your focus from avoiding failure to learning from it, empowering you to approach challenges with courage and determination. Each mistake becomes a stepping stone, guiding you toward greater wisdom and resilience. External influences can also perpetuate mistakes. Surrounding yourself with people, environments, or routines that reinforce harmful behaviors makes it difficult to break free. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of cultivating supportive relationships and environments that align with your values. By surrounding yourself with influences that inspire and uplift, you create a foundation for change. This intentionality in choosing your surroundings strengthens your resolve to act in ways that serve your growth. Repeated mistakes often reflect unresolved inner conflicts. When you act in ways that contradict your values or goals, it creates a disconnect that fuels negative patterns. Stoicism encourages you to bridge this gap by aligning your actions with your beliefs. This alignment fosters integrity and self-respect, reducing the likelihood of decisions that betray your principles. As you live more authentically, the pull of past mistakes weakens, replaced by the clarity and confidence that come from living in harmony with yourself. Habits play a crucial role in the repetition of mistakes. Actions repeated over time become automatic, making it difficult to change course. Stoicism teaches that breaking harmful habits requires consistent effort and vigilance. By replacing destructive behaviors with intentional ones, you gradually rewire your patterns. This process demands patience, but each small step forward builds momentum, creating a new trajectory that moves you away from old mistakes and toward meaningful growth. A lack of accountability can also contribute to recurring mistakes. Without a system for reflecting on your choices and their outcomes, it's easy to overlook areas that need improvement. Stoicism emphasizes the value of self-discipline and accountability, urging you to take ownership of your actions. By regularly assessing your progress and holding yourself accountable for your decisions, you create a feedback loop that reinforces positive change. This practice ensures that mistakes are not repeated out of neglect or complacency. The stories you tell yourself about your mistakes can either trap you in a cycle of repetition or empower you to change. Self-defeating narratives, such as believing you're incapable of improvement, reinforce negative patterns. Stoicism challenges these narratives, encouraging you to adopt a mindset of growth and resilience. By reframing your perspective, you shift from viewing mistakes as failures to seeing them as opportunities for learning and growth. This shift empowers you to move forward with confidence and determination. Procrastination often plays a role in repeated mistakes. Delaying action to address problems or make changes allows harmful patterns to persist. Stoicism teaches the importance of taking action in the present moment, reminding you that each day offers an opportunity to act with intention. By embracing this sense of urgency, you disrupt the cycle of procrastination, replacing it with purposeful action that moves you closer to your goals. A lack of self-compassion can also hinder change. Harsh self-criticism often leads to feelings of shame or defeat, making it difficult to break free from negative patterns. Stoicism advocates for balance, urging you to approach your mistakes with both accountability and kindness. By treating yourself with compassion, you create a supportive environment for growth, allowing you to learn from your errors without being weighed down by guilt. The practice of mindfulness is a powerful tool for breaking the cycle of repeated mistakes. By cultivating awareness of your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you gain insight into the triggers and habits that drive your behavior. Mindfulness creates a space for intentionality, allowing you to choose your responses rather than defaulting to old patterns. This practice not only reduces the likelihood of repeating mistakes, but also fosters a deeper connection to your values and goals. Breaking free from recurring mistakes requires patience and persistence. Change is rarely immediate, but each effort you make contributes to the larger process of growth. Stoicism teaches that progress, not perfection, is the goal. By celebrating small victories and remaining committed to your journey, you build the resilience needed to overcome setbacks and continue moving forward. The cycle of repeated mistakes can feel daunting, but Stoicism provides a path to understanding and change. Through reflection, intentionality, and self-discipline, you uncover the root causes of your patterns and replace them with habits that serve your growth. Each step forward reinforces your ability to act with wisdom and purpose, transforming mistakes into opportunities for self-discovery and resilience. The journey through Stoicism has revealed one powerful truth: no one can manipulate, diminish, or toy with you unless you allow it. By embracing the principles we've explored, unshakable inner power, emotional detachment, setting boundaries, and reframing manipulative actions, you reclaim your agency and rise above the games others try to play. These tools are not just strategies, they are a philosophy for living a life of integrity, strength, and peace. Every lesson, from transforming emotional pain into power to mastering the art of reverse psychology, offers a pathway to freedom. You've learned how to walk away with dignity, embrace your true worth, and remain unshaken by the storms others create. Stoicism is not about winning the game. It's about living so authentically and powerfully that the game no longer matters. You become untouchable, not by shielding yourself, but by standing firm in who you are. This philosophy is more than words. It's a call to act. Which Stoic principle resonated with you most deeply? How will you begin applying it today? Let me know in the comments. Your insights could inspire someone else to take their first step toward freedom. And if this exploration of Stoicism has sparked something within you, don't stop here. Hit subscribe and join us on this journey of wisdom and growth. The next step is just around the corner, and your transformation is already underway.